Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's 6 o'clock. We'd like to get underway. Welcome to the Sylvan Lake Municipal Election Forum. I will briefly introduce myself. I'm Al Sebring. I'll be your moderator tonight. My qualifications for being up here are pretty sketchy. I'm a 14-year municipal politician, including 4 years as mayor in a big rural municipality out in BC. My wife and I moved to Lacombe 3 years ago to be closer to our 11 grandkids. They all live in central Alberta. I'm retired today. I do a little bit of governance consulting, Robert's Rules of Order, and improving interpersonal skills at the governance table, that kind of stuff. I'm a member of the National Association of Parliamentarians. That's the Robert's Rules geeks, for those that don't know. I've also become somewhat adept at helping organizations develop codes of conduct in keeping with best governance practices. And that's enough about me, because this is about you. There's obviously a lot of interest in this election. We have 20 candidates for council, 2 for mayor, and a pretty packed house tonight with people standing along the walls. That tells you there's a lot of interest. Congratulations and thank you to everyone, both the candidates and the audience, for showing up. First, a little bit of housekeeping. If you have one of these, please turn it off or put it on vibrate. If it goes off during the evening, there'll be a $15 fine donated to a candidate you're not supporting. How's that? If you need to take or make a call, please step outside, and please do so while I'm speaking. We want to respect the candidates. I'm not too worried about me, but if I'm asking a question, that's the time to slip out or to slip back in. Bathrooms, if you need them, are located just outside these doors off to your right in the main hallway. If we have an emergency evacuation tonight or some idiot pulls a fire alarm, we will exit these rooms in an orderly fashion there, turn right, proceed to the main hallway, turn left and head north toward the railroad tracks. The north muster point is in the green space across the street from the main entrance to the building. If there's a problem in that direction, we'll head to the south muster point, which is across the street from the south entrance to the building. Also, just to get you oriented, there's a candidate literature table around the corner by the cookies, and there's even some candidates for school board that have left some of their literature there, so you can check that out as well. So basic rules for this evening. The number one thing I would insist on is that we all remain respectful toward one another. You're free to agree or disagree with what you hear the answers as the candidates give them. What you're not free to do is to shout them down or heckle or boo, or even cheer too enthusiastically. We want this to be a forum where candidates don't feel intimidated into not speaking their minds because they've read the room and figured out that the answer they might really want to give could be unpopular. So I'd ask you to restrain yourselves in terms of your reactions to what you might hear. If you strongly support what someone says and break into applause so they can't speak, you're cutting into their allocated time. On the other hand, if you boo them and they can't speak, I'll ask the folks to restart the timer. As I said, you're free to agree or disagree, but please keep that to yourself. Maybe make a mental note and go, oh, this guy I'm definitely going to vote for, or this gal I'm definitely not going to vote for based on that answer. But the whole room doesn't need to know that. The person sitting 3 rows behind you or 5 seats over didn't come to hear from you. They came to hear from the candidates. So let's all keep that in mind. There was a lot of interest in this forum. More than 100 questions were submitted to the town's website in advance of the evening, and we'll try to get through the majority of them. Some were similar, and where practical, we've grouped them together into one question. There's also an opportunity for additional questions submitted tonight. They have to be written out and dropped into the boxes. There's one here, and there's another table. I was talking about the cookies earlier and the candidate table. There's one at the backside there. You have until 7:30 to get written questions there, and there's little slips on those tables. You can write the questions out and put them in a box, or somebody will take it from you. But at 7:30 we cut those off. You got an hour and a half to get those last minute questions in, and we'll look at those questions after we take a break at 8 p.m. The format will start with each of the candidates taking 1 minute to introduce themselves. Then we'll go to something I call the lightning round of questions. I'll explain more on that later. After that, I'll be posing questions to 3 candidates at a time. For some questions, I'll be asking 4 candidates. That way, assuming we don't run out of time, every candidate will have an opportunity to answer 4 questions tonight. And it'll be on a rotating basis. I've tried not to group the same candidates together more than once, so they're interacting with different candidates throughout the evening. Everyone will be given 60 seconds to answer their question. There's a stoplight to help them stay on time, and your mic will be cut off if you go over your 60 seconds. The timer for the candidates is that clock right there above the sound table. So there's that. Again, not every candidate will have an opportunity to answer every question. We had more than 100 questions submitted, so with 22 candidates, if we give them each a minute, that's 2,200 minutes. We'd be here for 3 days. I don't know. So ain't nobody got time for that, so we'll have to make some compromises. But every candidate will be given the full list of questions at the end of the evening. And if they want to respond to questions they weren't called upon to answer this evening, they can do so on their websites or their Facebook pages or literature or whatever. We'll try to go through about 20 questions before we take a break at 8 o'clock. After the break, about another half hour of questions, hopefully called from the ones that you can write out and submit. And then at about 8:45, candidates will each have 45 seconds to make their closing pitch. So I'm assuming we're ready to go. You've heard enough from me. Let's start with candidate introductions. We'll start with the 2 mayoral candidates and then go alphabetically by last name, starting at my end of the table and going way down the end there where Kelsey Wilson is sitting, and I can't even see Kelsey. Hi, Kelsey. I see a hand waving. That's a long table. So to the audience, in the interest of time, please hold your applause till all the candidates have introduced themselves. And to the candidates, not everybody in the room can read the name tag, so maybe when you introduce yourself, start with your name. With that, let's go to Mayor Hansen, candidate Larson, and then candidate Bilodeau. We'll start here.
Excellent. Hello, my name is Megan Hansen. I'm a neighbor, community connector, a volunteer, and someone who loves this town fiercely. Over the past 4 years, I've worked with our community to make some great progress on the items that are important to Lakers. We've secured millions in housing investment. We've advocated for important items such as a new high school and seniors housing, and we brought forward practical solutions on parking, youth engagement, and business support. I've stayed focused on strengthening our financial position by building reserves, and I've always voted in support of the core infrastructure projects that keep our community running. But still, there is so much more to do, and that's why I'm asking for your support in this election. I love Sylvan Lake fiercely, and I have the experience required to action the needs of our community. My commitment is to lead with heart, with collaboration and with a vision for a family-friendly, connected, and thriving town. And I'm excited about what's ahead. Thanks so much for being here and getting to know us tonight.
Candidate Larson, before you start, the clock wasn't running during this. Can we fix that? Well, I saw she was reading from a script, so I assumed she'd done the minute thing, so I didn't call her on it. But can we make sure the clock is running from this time forward? Candidate Larson, go ahead. It's running now. You can stand up if you want, or you can sit down. It's entirely up to you. Your clock will start over. No. You can stand where you are. This is my podium. I need to lean on it.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Dorian Larson, and I am a lifelong resident of Sylvan Lake. I am not a career politician. I'm not a politician at all, but I think that's a good thing. I've built businesses, solved problems, taken risks, and I don't back down from any challenge. I don't deal in buzzwords, and I'm not here to give you the same polished lines you've heard over and over before. I'm running because I have a deep, deep love for this town, and I'm ready to do the work to make it a safer, cleaner, more affordable, and more accountable. I'll speak the truth, even when it's uncomfortable. And if you can show me that I'm wrong on something and you use logic and common sense, I'll be the first one to change my mind. Because real leadership isn't about pride, it's about listening to the people. This town doesn't belong to special interests, insiders, or just a handful of voices.
Time.
It belongs to all of us.
Time. Candidate Bilodeau. Don't look at me. I'm not
Hello?
running the mics. There we go.
That's not your job. Hello, Lakers. My name is Holly Bilodeau. I feel a huge sense of pride standing before you today as a candidate for Sylvan Lake Town Council. I have lived in this community for 26 years. My husband and I built a business from the ground up here, and we've raised our children here. My heart is in this community. We have been here to see the growth of this town, to see schools being built, shopping centers constructed, trail systems created, lakefront development, redevelopment, this very rec center being built. It's important to know where Sylvan Lake has come from in order to know where we're going. With my background in business, I've learned how to manage budgets, build relationships, and make practical decisions that get results. I believe in listening and doing the research to make informed choices that benefit everyone in this community so we can see Sylvan Lake thrive. I will be your committed...
Time. Cole Ellis.
Good evening. My name is Ruby Cole Ellis, and my story actually started very far away from here in Guatemala, where I was born and raised. Love brought me to Canada, and Sylvan Lake has been home for the last 9 years. It is where my husband and I are raising those loud twin babies in the corner, and where I want my family and yours to thrive. Professionally, I bring over 15 years of experience in sustainability, business development, and community design. From sitting at the board of the World Green Building Council to founding the Mavi Studio right here in town. I'm running because Sylvan Lake is ready for some fresh energy that is community-focused and action-oriented. It's time we clean up our lakeshore, address vandalism, maintain our town's architectural charm, and make sure new projects actually match our capacity and vision. We need real bylaw enforcement, more efficient administration, and solutions for affordable housing, all built on sustainable growth that protects what makes Sylvan Lake so special, its residents. Thank you.
Thank you. Next.
Hi, my name's Wade Collins, and while I've heard multiple times that a councillor represents the town of Sylvan Lake, I'd like to clarify I'm running to represent the taxpayers of the town of Sylvan Lake. Currently, the federal deficit is projected to be $68.5 billion. The provincial deficit is projected to be $6.5 billion. While we can't do much about that yet, we can start with our municipality. As of December 31st, 2024, long-term debt for the town was about $3.5 million, with 2 valid bylaws approved for a borrow of $9 million, which will bring our what we owe to around $40-ish million. Currently, with all visible and hidden taxes, according to the Fraser Institute, the average Canadian family pays 42.3% of income to taxes. My first goal as a councillor would be to find out where all our taxpayers' dollars go, how much of those dollars go to needs versus wants, pay down the debt, reduce property taxes for residents and businesses, and find creative
Time.
ways of...
Next.
Check, check. I'm Shireen Dakin. Do you remember why you fell in love with this town? I do. They call us Lakers. We have a hope in our heart that our community will remain just as we fell in love with it. And that's why I'm running. I spent 21 years on committees connecting our neighbors and protecting what we love. Our beach needs stronger bylaws. Our youth deserve more. You need to be able to afford to retire here and feel safe. I have a real plan for that. Check the record. When you say that you don't want something, that's exactly how I vote. I made it so those votes are recorded so you can see for yourself. I rarely charge for the expenses because I'm not here for the money. The first term is for learning, and I learned fast and hard. Great leaders learn from mistakes. The second term is for doing, and I'm beyond ready. I ask the hard questions because I'm not afraid to stand up for our community's will. I care deeply about you and everyone in this community. Let me prove that to you even more tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Next.
Good evening. I'm Nicole Drevenak, and I'm honored for the opportunity to earn your vote and represent you on council. I'm a born and raised Albertan, and I proudly called Sylvan Lake home for 15 years. Good leadership starts with listening, and for 20 years, I built my business on listening to people. And when I say listening, I mean truly hearing them. This trust has shaped me and given me the courage to take on challenges I've never imagined, like standing here today asking for your support. I'm not a politician. I'm a mother, and I've raised 3 kids on my own, a business owner who's faced challenges head on, and someone deeply invested in the future of our community. Sylvan Lake is our home, and it's where our community still matters, and our small town heart shines bright all year round. On October 20th, I ask for your vote. Every voice matters, and yours matters to me. Thank you. We can protect what we love and shape our future that we deserve together.
Next.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Joe Iwanicki. I'm honored to be here to see so many people before me and grateful for the opportunity to earn your trust. After bartending until I was 25 years old, I decided to go back to university. I earned my bachelor's degree in political science and then my law degree in 2016. 3 years ago, I decided to open my own law firm. It operates out of Calgary in central Alberta. As a lawyer, I've run trials before every level of court in this province, including appeals to the Court of Appeal. One of the core skills that a trial lawyer has is the ability to think quickly and process information, oftentimes lots of it. I must do so while maintaining constant professionalism and an unimpeachable integrity. My currency, my profession, is my reputation, and that's something I won't compromise for anybody. If elected, I'll focus on rebuilding public trust in our institutions. We can show that this town can be better without sacrificing the values that Lakers hold so dear. So on October 20th, please consider me for your vote.
Next.
Check. Oh, perfect. Hello, everyone. My name is Tej Johannesson. I'm running simply to run for Lakers first. I do not care about making policies that help or affect tourists that come to our town. I'm here to make policies that affect Lakers and Lakers only. The first thing that I want to recognize is that I, if elected, am an employee of the people. I work for you guys. I'm not the boss of anyone. I don't tell anyone what to do. You tell me what to do, and I take that very seriously. We need to have zero tolerance on our bylaws. This means a mandate from our bylaw officers that we fine every single violation that we see at the beach. If we don't respect our own beach, how do we expect people who come here to respect it? It starts with us. It starts with us on the respect. Nobody asks for higher taxes who make a vote. 10 seconds. Oh, my goodness. When you make a vote on your check, you're not asking for higher taxes. I will never vote for higher taxes. It is my job as a person on council to come up with creative ideas to raise revenue for the town. That does not mean taxing its citizens. Thank you.
He made it. Oh. Just. Next.
Yeah. Good evening. My name is Dale Rowan Kachula. I've proudly called Sylvan Lake home for 26 years. As a former business owner, I understand the needs of both residents and businesses. For the past 6 years, I've worked in politics as a constituency manager, gaining invaluable experience navigating government and finding solutions that make a real difference for people. I'm running for council to bring fresh, principled leadership that puts residents first. My priorities are keeping taxes manageable, protecting our lakefront, supporting local business, ensuring Sylvan Lake remains safe, thriving place for families. I would be honored to be chosen as one of the 6 available seats for town council. Thank you very much.
Wow, she had 20 seconds left. That's awesome. Next.
Forgive me for not standing. Someone would have to catch me if I did. So, good evening. My name is Barrett McCauley. Thank you for the opportunity to be here, and thank you all for coming. I'm a widowed father of 3, former business owner with over 25 years in Alberta Oil and Gas, most of those in leadership roles, but was life's unexpected challenges that provided most of my learning and growth. My commitment is to continuously seek to eliminate waste, ensure maximum value for each tax dollar. I will be the one who reads all the material and the fine print to ensure council is informed and working in the best interests of all Lakers. I hope to earn your vote tonight, and if elected, we'll work collaboratively, advocating on Lakers' behalf with integrity, honesty, transparency for a safe, clean, and thriving Sylvan Lake. May God bless Sylvan Lake.
Thank you. Next.
Before I get started, to any of you out there wondering, no, this is not my natural hair color. Good evening, Lakers. Thank you so much for this opportunity to earn your vote. I'm Shannon. As you can probably tell, I'm not your typical professional politician, but here is what I am. I am passionate, honest to a fault, and walk with integrity. I will always tell it to you straight, and I always root for the underdog. I also love this community, and I noticed that when we moved here, people seemed to feel frustrated and unheard. The same issues kept going round and round with no solid solutions, leaving the town feeling somewhat compromised. I want to be a part of changing that. I want to be the person who bridges the people to the council and helps the citizens to feel this is a town that they are proud of and connected to. So together, we can build better relationships, create solid solutions, and grow responsibly for our best future. I will be a voice and advocate that this great community deserves, and I look
Sorry, time. Next.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Tim Mearns. My wife Lori and I have been part of the community of Sylvan Lake for over 33 years, raising our 3 children here and watching our town grow from just a few thousand residents to a community of more than 17,000. For the past 8 years, I've had the privilege of serving on town council, bringing both the perspective of a longtime resident and the experience of a councillor. My top priority is supporting a sustainable water supply, not just for today, but for decades to come. Water is the foundation of our future, and we must plan wisely. I'm also committed to balancing the needs of residents with the opportunities tourism brings. Tourism fuels our economy, but council's responsibility is to protect quality of life for those who call Sylvan Lake home. And finally, I'll keep our community strong and welcoming for businesses, because when local businesses succeed, our whole town succeeds. I bring experience, balance, and a steady voice for responsible decision-making, and I'm asking for your support to continue building Sylvan Lake's future together.
Thank you. Next.
I am Ian Ostindi. Welcome. Thank you, those online, those in the room, and those who have organized. How do we stand out in a crowd? First, I have been a foster dad, a stepdad, a bio dad, and now a grandfather, Opa. Second, how do I think? What happens when I disagree with you? When we disagree, I say frustration is okay, but hate, anger, believing others are stupid is not. Disagreements lead me to curiosity. I wonder, what part of their story do I not understand? What part of my story should I explain better? What did they say? What makes me think differently? If we believe other people are a human swamp that just need to be drained out of existence, then we are not ready to serve town council. Let's be hard on ideas, but soft on people. I'll be respectful of every councillor we elect, but not pushed over. Collaboration to an extreme is what I'm talking about. I ask for your vote.
Thank you. Next.
Good evening. Good evening. Yes, my name is Graham Parsons, and yes, I am the oldest by far up on this stage. I have been a proud, active member of our community and our business community for over 50 years. Hence, I have the experience in just about every aspect of our community and its history. I've seen it grow from a small tourist town to a community that is truly recognized as an all-round player in our province. For decades, I've seen the decisions made to manage that growth. I've seen the mistakes and I've seen the corrections. And through it all, to a person, the decisions that were made by former councils were made with honesty, integrity, and for the good of the community. I applaud those as well as my past and current council colleagues, because when I made the choice to help be a decision maker, I vowed to be the same. Proudly, I challenge anyone to question my strengths.
Time's here. Next.
Sorry, dude. My name is Jazz Payne. I have been a Sylvan Laker for 18 years. I've been serving on council for most of that time. I am a dad first. I have been a husband. I have been a father. I've been a school dad to a lot of the kids that are in this room. I take very seriously the work that we do. Honesty, integrity, accountability are important to me. I had a whole list of things that I wanted to say, but in all honesty, the most important thing is we work together on this council. We work together to do what's best for Sylvan, and that's what's first and foremost for me, is doing what's best as a family member, doing what's best for families in this community. I've championed kids, I've championed families, That's what I hope to continue to do, because that's where my heart is. That's where things lie for me. Thank you.
Thank you. Next.
My name is Pat Sawyer. Hello, everyone. I'm excited to be running for town council here in Sylvan Lake. Our town is such a vibrant, growing community, and I believe we can make it more wonderful together. My main goals are focused on sustainable growth, ensuring that we maintain the charm and natural beauty that makes Sylvan Lake special. I also want to enhance our local services, making sure everyone has access to resources they need, whether it's for families, seniors, or businesses. Most importantly, I want to foster a strong sense of community where every voice is heard and valued. I believe in transparency, collaboration, and accountability. I promise to work very hard for you to make Sylvan Lake the place we're all proud of. Thank you for your support. I look forward to the opportunity to serve you.
Thank you. Next.
Hello, everyone. I'm Erin Smith, and as a dedicated member of our community, I'm passionate about making Sylvan Lake an even better place to live. One of my top priorities is implementing a comprehensive waste management strategy. This could include year-round composting, weekly recycling pickups, and bi-weekly garbage to promote more sustainable practices. By working together, we can make a cleaner, greener neighborhood. Community involvement is also at the heart of my platform. I believe fostering strong connections and encouraging residents to participate in local events, attend council meetings, and share their ideas. Together, we can build a vibrant and engaged community. Lastly, as a pet lover, I am committed to looking for creative ways to add more off-leash areas for our fur babies. By utilizing green spaces, we can provide more opportunities for our pets to play and socialize. Thank you very much for your time today, and I look forward to working together to make Sylvan Lake an even better place to live.
Thank you. Next.
Hello, my name is Onsi Tuadros. I can say I'm proud to say that Sylvan Lake has been home to me and my family since 2015. And in 2019, we took the chance to open our pharmacy business, and the amount of support and encouragement from the community was something we cannot forget. For years, I have had the privilege of serving on various boards and committees, including the Seniors Lodge Committee, Health Attraction Committee, Economic Advisory Committee, and I have seen how our town works from inside and out. Couple this with strong background of business and finance, I can bring a new, fresh perspective to the table, to tackle the challenges we face, and to amplify the good things that's happening. So that's why I'm asking you to consider me when you vote to add me to the list that you will vote for. Thank you.
Thank you. Next.
If you are here tonight or joining online, it means that you care. You are a concerned, engaged citizen that cares about Sylvan Lake and its future. It is the reason why I'm here and why I'm running for town council. My name is Joanna Thompson. I moved to Sylvan Lake in 2005. And since then, the population has doubled. We now have 1 million visitors a year, and the many challenges that come with this growth and this tourism activity. I'm a professional biologist with a career in public service. I have a degree in environmental science and experience in land management, and I work with multi-stakeholder interest groups. I'm a collaborative leader, and I am a team player, and perhaps one of the most determined and hardworking individuals you will come across. I'm a family-oriented person that loves serving my community by volunteering my time and energy. My priorities for building a better Sylvan Lake are budget efficiency, sustainable tourism, protecting our lake, and supporting local business. I ask for your vote.
Time. At least you got to ask for the vote. That's okay. Next.
Good evening. I'm Alfred Unger, and I want to thank each of you for your attendance here tonight, your interest in our conversation, and I want to thank you for the opportunity to be able to address you. We clean up pretty good, don't we? How many of you have heard the joke? It's an old one. How do you know if a politician's lying? His lips are moving. Anybody heard that? Well, of course it's a joke and it's not nearly always true, but it does leave us with the question, how do you know who to vote for? Well, as a man of faith, The Bible tells me, and it promises you as well, that if we lack wisdom, we need to ask for it. And God will give it to us. So here's the deal. I'm going to ask each one of you to pray and ask for wisdom, because you need to look beyond what we say and what we look like, and He'll give it to you.
Time. Finally, candidate Wilson, thank you for your patience.
Thank you. My name is Kelsey Wilson, and I want to thank you for being here this evening. I moved to Sylvan Lake in 2011, and I have been a teacher at the high school ever since, H.J. Cody School. This summer, I married Stefan, paramedic, in my hometown of Canmore. And I want to talk to you about how my skills as a teacher will really lend themselves to being a town councillor. I find in this increasingly divisive world where the left doesn't want to listen to the right and the right doesn't want to listen to the left, that I bring sort of an independent neutrality to the floor and a way to work with fellow councillors. There's a reason why in the last 15 years, none of my students know who I voted for in any election, because if it doesn't matter and it's not relevant, then it's just noise. So I ask you for your vote on the 20th, and thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Folks, let's give them all a round of applause now that we've heard from them. Okay, we're already 4 minutes behind schedule. I'm just saying. Now we move to the lightning round. This is something that isn't usually done in municipal forums, but some of the questions that were submitted deserve a response from all the candidates, not just a select few. Most of the questions will be bunching them into 3 candidates get to answer. As I explained, there's not enough time to give every candidate a full minute to respond to every question, so I've called the top 5 questions that were submitted online at the town website. Candidates will be given some options for their answers. Basically, the options will be yes, no, or maybe. And the candidates have not been given an advance look at these questions, so they'll have to think on their feet. The answers have to be either in the yes, no, or maybe categories. Any elaboration that goes longer than 10 seconds, your mic will be cut off. So we'll get to the questions. Interestingly, the most frequently asked question on the town website had to do with hockey, specifically ice time and whether Sylvan Lake needs another arena or at least another ice surface for hockey. So here we go. The first lightning round question in reverse alphabetical order. So we'll start with Wilson down the end, come this way, and then we'll do the 2 mayoral candidates. First lightning question. Candidate Wilson, are you in favor of building another arena in Sylvan Lake? Yes, we need it. No, we can't afford it. Or I'm not sure. I want to see the financial and tax implications.
Yes, we need it. I'm a hockey player myself, and speaking after door knocking to
Thank
so
you.
many families,
Yes. We heard yes, we need it. That's it. Next, coming this way.
Well, of course, it's only money. No.
Thank you. Next.
Maybe. Depends on how much money we have in our reserve fund.
Thank you.
I'm a businessman. I have to study. I have to look at the numbers, and then I can make my decision.
Thank you.
I'd be a maybe. I'd want to see the financials as well.
No, I don't want to see the tax increase or the implementations of it. I got that wrong.
All right.
No, not yet, but soon.
Yeah. Yeah, I know we need one. I'm the same as Councillor Payne.
Time. That's why it's the lightning round. Next.
No at this moment, because there's quite a few other priorities demanded by community that has not been served yet.
Next.
No, because it would mean more borrowing and debt.
I have to say no too, because of the debt.
Well, I'd love to say yes. I agree. The money's got to be there, so I'd have to see what the budget held first.
I would have to say no, just simply because of the budget. We need to, yeah, absolutely no. Not right now.
Yeah, it's a no for me. We got to work on our current infrastructure first. I'm a big sports guy. I understand how important it is to people, but it's a no. We got to work on our current stuff first before we start adding new things.
I'd say maybe once all of our existing recreation facilities are paid off.
I'm a maybe because I think there's other things that we can focus on as well, depending on the debt.
Yes, I've thought of solutions for this, and this will not be at the cost of any other organization, though.
No, make do with what you have.
My answer is no, there are priorities right now that need addressing first. Afterwards, maybe.
I'm going to give the answer of maybe, but introduce the idea to look at where we're actually allocating all of our ice time currently.
I'm going to go with maybe. I'd like to see all the financials before decisions like that are made.
Not yet. We have a 5-year capital plan, and it should go on the list, but not immediately.
Thank you very much. First round. Second round of the Lightning. Same issue, different question, because it kept coming up in these. There were 5 pages of questions on this, folks. I think the minor hockey parents got together and said, let's flood the website. Would you support, and for order here, let's start in the middle of the row with candidate McDonald, go alphabetically to candidate Wilson, and then from Bilodeau to Macaulay, and then we'll end with the mayoral candidates. Everybody clear on that? Starting with you? Okay. Second question. Would you support converting the curling rink ice surface at the Nexor Center into a facility for hockey? Possible answers are yes, it's a compromise, or no, the curling community needs the space. Yes or no?
No, I think the curling people need their space.
No.
No, and I do curl, but the curling space is a multi-use space. It serves quite a few different groups, including some of the groups that actually need more space.
You're trying to get me fired. So, no, not yet because of the cost of it. It's there.
Time.
No, not yet. It's possible in the future if curling dwindles, but no, definitely not yet.
No, not yet.
No, not yet.
No, not yet.
What was the question again? Just kidding. Absolutely not.
No, there's other options that we can explore.
No, it definitely serves a population and a purpose within our community.
Bilodeau, are we done at the end there? I can't see. Okay. Candidate Bilodeau and then down this way.
My answer is no, because we don't want to kick out the user groups that are youth and seniors.
No.
No, make do with what you have.
Boy, you're grouchy.
No, I support the curlers, but I do see the need for finding solutions for hockey, for sure.
I'm also a no.
No, I think there needs to be recreational options for seniors.
And go ahead.
No, we should turn it into a football field. I'm just kidding. No, curlers matter too, and we should keep their ability to do that.
That'd be a hard no for me.
I'm the same. No, not for me either.
So we got everybody? Except the mayoral candidates. Go ahead.
I'd say no. I think we can come up with ideas for ice time. Graham's worked hard on that already.
No, and only one day if they had another facility that was an improvement for them.
Okay, thank you. Next topic in the lightning round is climate change. And folks, I didn't write these questions. These come from the town, or from the residents of the town. So if you have a problem with not just this, but anything that's coming up, don't look at me. For this one, we'll start with the two mayoral candidates, Larson, then Hanson, and then run alphabetically again, starting with Bilodeau and ending with Wilson. A number of communities, including Edmonton and Calgary, have declared so-called climate emergencies. They're putting a heavy emphasis on reducing greenhouse gas emissions with increased density, zero emissions targets for new developments, and an increased emphasis on active transportation, walking, cycling, and transit. So the question is, would you support measures by the town of Sylvan Lake to combat climate change by working toward emissions reductions through increased density, increased transit use, and walking or cycling options, and net zero emissions targets for new construction, especially municipal infrastructure. And your three possible suggested answers are yes, we need to do our part to deal with this. No, our GHG emissions don't make a hill of beans difference. Or three, we need to be environmentally responsible, but focusing too much on this could be counterproductive and not a good use of taxpayer dollars. We'll start with candidate Larson, then Hansen, and then we'll go down the list. Candidate Larson.
No. When you can make China do something about their 40%, I'll start too.
Thank you.
Maybe there's some great ideas on the list, and then there's many that are not.
Thank you. Build it up.
Option 3, which I believe was a maybe or a no.
It
but
was a maybe.
It was a maybe. So just because I just don't think it's a priority at this time for our town.
Next.
As a sustainability expert, I have to say maybe. A lot of these initiatives are just loaded with.
Next.
I would say no. The climate change thing is not explained all that well from the other side.
I'm an oil and gas girl. I grew up in it. It's a no for me, but I do understand that there does need to be some sensitivity to climate initiatives for other reasons.
Next.
I'm just a flat no.
I'm a maybe in the sense that we're not a major city like Calgary. We can't absorb those types of costs.
I'm not getting elected to save the world here. I'm getting elected to represent the people of Sylvan Lake and make your lives better, safer, and more affordable. And I also don't have a God complex that thinks that I can do anything about it, so no.
Time.
I'm at the risk of sounding repetitive. A hard no. Absolutely not.
Favorite question so far. Hard no. Climate, in my opinion, has been changing since the beginning of time, and there's no need to impoverish all of us in order to combat it.
Thank you. Next.
I'm going to choose option 3.
All right, that was the maybe.
I'm a no, but encourage everyone to get out and enjoy our bike paths and walk when we can in the mild weather we have.
I'm a no, but I'm a solid yes in terms of we work with other layers of government to do good things for our planet. I do believe in science that climate change is real.
Time.
I'm a no, but I do believe the same as Ian in looking into other level of governments to help out.
I would support initiatives as long as they weren't financially stupid and not needlessly difficult.
I'm a maybe. I believe we can switch our municipal vehicles to hybrids. I'm a hybrid owner myself, and they're way more efficient than municipalities.
I'd be a maybe, but looking for things that we can control, not like big budget items.
I would say no. There is a difference between taking care of being good to the environment around us and the climate change. So what they're talking about is not.
I am an environmental scientist, but I will say no to this question because I think we should advocate to the province and the federal government on those initiatives.
I'm a no.
I'm maybe. It depends on where your ideology falls on this topic, but I think we can all agree we can always reduce, reuse, and recycle.
Thank you very much to all the candidates for that one. Third lightning round question. This one's to do with taxes. Again, we'll do mayoral candidates first. We'll just run down the table. Hansen and Larson, and then we'll do the reverse alphabetical order. We'll start with candidate Wilson and work this way on this question. Are you ready? Will you commit to voting against any and all municipal property tax increases in the upcoming 4-year term? Simple yes or no.
I am sorry, that is not realistic, but I think you have to make
That's
sure
not
you're
a
watching
yes
the
or
bottom
no.
line.
I'll commit.
That's a yes. Candidate Wilson, and then working this way.
Pretty fresh face here. My degrees have not prepared me for a budget in this moment. But in terms of tax increases, I would try to keep them as low as possible.
I'll tell you the truth. I won't commit to it because we don't know what's coming in 4 years.
I agree with Alfred on this one. Can't commit just because of fiscal uncertainty.
I will say I'll commit to work on it. I believe we have done it before, and we can do it again.
Yeah, I wouldn't be committing to it one way or the other. I think it will depend on what comes up with the financials.
I wouldn't commit on it either. It's something that we're going to wait within time.
The goal is always 0%. So, but you can't commit on that if it's not realistic. It needs to be reasonable action all the time, and we don't know what's coming.
Exactly. No, we can't commit. We don't know. It's taxes are a balance of services, and we can't commit anything. So I can't. I say no.
I'm also saying no. You have to deal with inflation. It comes at you all the time. And the province has reduced transfers to municipalities by $1 billion per year.
I can't commit to that based on not knowing what budget's coming, and we won't know that until early in the new year.
I can't commit, but I would really love to commit because raising taxes is the last thing I ever want to do.
I'm also a no, but I would say that we can do a way better job trying to find a waste and make new revenue sources for the town.
I agree with my running mate. I have to say no.
Yes, I will never vote for a tax increase. I think it's ridiculous to say that. I believe that as an elected member of council, my job is to do everything possible to find other solutions other than taxing the people. I will never do that.
I'm not even going to explain this. No.
It's also a no to raising taxes.
Mine's a maybe. My history has shown that I've fought against tax increases. I have voted against it in the past. However, I will never make a promise that I can't keep.
Absolutely. Make do with what you have.
I cannot commit. We do not have a saying on how our taxes can go up and down, but we do have a saying on how those dollars are spent.
I want to give the political answer, which everybody's going to hear me say yes, but no, we can't commit until we know what's going on in the books. We need to cut spending, and we need to learn or find a way to get additional revenue.
Okay, thank you very much. The final lightning round question actually breaks my own rules because there's no suggested answers here. We'll go alphabetically again. Bilodeau to Wilson, and then Larson and Henson. Final question, 10 seconds or less. What's the most important issue facing our community right now? Go. Bilodeau.
I would say it's the craziness on the lake. People are angry, and the town residents don't feel like they're being listened to. So there are a lot of issues at the lake.
I'm going to agree with her. It's our lake.
You're out of turn. You'll get your chance.
I think the number one issue is vandalism. It's out of control and needs to be addressed.
Yeah, property taxes and the beach and the water.
Youth violence, youth crime. It's been a huge issue for us in Sylvan Lake, and tied with that absolutely has been the lakefront.
I'm also going to say the lakefront and protecting our lake and the beach. I'm also going to say vandalism and crime.
I'd say a lack of trust that services are being provided by the town in a way that people feel is fair and reasonable.
For me, it's putting Lakers first. It's understanding that we are not a place that can be growing to 25,000 people right now. We have to stop this growth and repair our infrastructure that we have right now.
For me, it is about the beach, for sure. And yeah, absolutely about the beach. We need to come up with solutions to make Sylvan Lakers happy.
For me, it would be the Housing Accelerator Fund and the speed with which we are growing. We have to be able to keep up in so many areas, and it's going to severely increase our costs.
For me, I think it's the residents feeling unheard and like they are not valued and their voices don't matter. and the lake front as well.
I'd be remiss to say if it wasn't securing a viable water source as we go into the future, but also a part of the lakefront as well.
One thing, it's not very sexy, it's all underground. It's the infrastructure. Millions of dollars worth of infrastructure gets older and older, and our reserves are only so big.
Managing growth. We are a growing community, and we will be growing. This is a great place to come to, great place to live. That's why you're all here. And so it's
I think the biggest thing is water infrastructure. You want your taps to come on, you want your toilets to flush. That's the biggest thing. Development and growth are a very close second.
Cleanliness of the lakefront for future cleanups, cutting crime, and infrastructure and the management of it.
I would say the lakefront and just finding a way to balance the tourism with the residents.
I think affordable housing, especially for seniors and first home buyers, couple this with the dealing with visitors and tourism, they are the top ones.
Sustainable growth, affordability, and our aging infrastructure.
I'm seeing chaos in multiple things. Our infrastructure, our beach, our vandalism. And that's what I would say is number one is chaos.
Absolutely, our infrastructure, keeping up with our development, we're booming. The water and aquifers, and we don't want a Calgary water main break on our hands, so we need to get out ahead of it.
Thank you all very much. That concludes the lightning round. Let's give him a hand. I forgot about the mayoral candidates. I'm getting glared at here. This is not good. Candidate Larson and then Hanson. Top priority, 10 seconds.
I'd say the beach, taxes, and crime.
The cost of our aging infrastructure and ensuring we have the grant funding or external funding sources to pay for that.
Thank you. Okay, we've already applauded, so good. Next. We move to the regular round of questions. The format here, each question will be posed to 3 candidates. They'll each have 1 minute to respond. There will be some questions just for the mayoral candidates. And just by way of introduction, the web page for these submissions was very clear that the questions had to be limited to topics relating to serving the municipality and impacts within the community, and that questions related to provincial or federal jurisdiction would not be entertained at this forum. There were questions submitted online about Alberta separatism, for example. That's a provincial issue. The SOGI curriculum, it's not something council deals with, that's a school board issue. Provincial policy on age-appropriate books in school libraries, again, not something we deal with at the council table. So those questions will not be asked tonight. The guidelines also ruled out questions that were deemed inappropriate, offensive, derogatory, or that would seem to attack the integrity of any candidate. And yes, sadly, there were some of those as well, which won't be asked. But that still leaves us with lots of stuff to talk about. We'll start. The first question to candidates Bilodeau, Cole Ellis, and Collinge. We have seen significant population growth in Sylvan Lake recently, from about almost 5,000 residents in 1994 to just under 16,000 in the most recent census. Does the town need to increase its service levels to keep up with this growth, including in the areas of healthcare, education, social services, recreation, and municipal infrastructure? And if so, how should that be done? Candidate Bilodeau first, then Cole Ellis and Collinge. You have 1 minute each. Go.
I have seen the growth of this community because I've been here through all of it. 5,200 people when I moved to this town, and we're at almost 18,000. We have to do things differently, and we need to look at getting extra services, and we need to figure out how we can grow with the growth. Like, there is so much growth coming, and how does our healthcare, how does our infrastructure keep up with it? So we need to get creative. We need to collaborate. Is there funding available? We got to look hard at the capital budget, which is for all the infrastructure, and what's left is for services. And we need to just plan for the future by looking at what we have spent and where we're going.
Thank you, Candidate Cole Ellis.
Thank you. I think the key for sustainable development is to be able to have capacity. So I think when we're looking at budget next year, we need to see what our capacity is. Once we're able to manage our debt, be able to maintain and upgrade our current facilities, we're able to welcome all the growth that is available for us. We're naturally going to grow. I do think that smart budget allocation is extremely needed. I think there are things that are top priority. Now, some of the examples that Al mentioned are not fall under municipal jurisdiction. However, we do have the power for proper advocacy on all, we're talking AHS, we're talking the school boards to make sure that we're able to match that growth that we not only have right now. It's hard to bring in more growth when we're not able to sustain it. Right now, we're over capacity on pretty much every single thing that a lot of the candidates have said. We're talking about water and schools.
And your point is well taken. Some of these are not strictly municipal issues. This is the way the question was asked, and it is a broader context. Candidate Collins.
I just would like to say I've been here for 36 years, and I have seen the town grow to a level that is going to become unsustainable, I would think, very soon, unless we pay attention to what we have to work with. And probably similar to mass immigration, I can tell you that probably the most people moving to Sylvan Lake are retirees. We need to look after our seniors, and we need to look after the children, and those are where the priorities should lay. And we seriously need to work with what we have instead of just spending money on things that are wants and not needs. Thank you.
Thank you. Next question, and this is for candidates Dakin, Drevnak, and Iwanicki. It's also related to the question of growth. We have an increasing seniors population. How should the town address the increasing demand for affordable housing for seniors and the need for more long-term care facilities in the community? Candidate Dakin.
Thank you for this question. A counselor's job is to do advocacy for our community, and I believe that we need to get some more dollars into this community, focusing on seniors so that they can stay in this community. They raise their children here, they love this community, they have a right to stay. Other things that we could be doing is maybe there's some dollars that are available through the HAF funding that exists already. We've already signed on to that agreement, and potentially we could work with the Seniors Lodge, whomever wants to come and be a partner to develop something so that we can be known not just as a community in the summer, but as a great seniors community. There's great walking paths, there's curling, there's so many great things to do in this community. So I think that is how I would do that, is through advocacy and trying to work through some of those half dollars and see how we can partner together.
Thank you very much. Candidate Drevnak.
When I look at the senior population and I listen to residents and the things that concern them, I also have people that live here that are aging. And my biggest thing that I hear is that what they need for living is different types of housing. And the housing that has been going up most recently is 2 stories. And if you think that seniors can do all those stairs, then what are they gonna do? We need housing that supports our aging population, and that usually means main floor living, which I don't see being built in Sylvan Lake unless you wanna be in an apartment building. Not everybody wants to be crowded in an apartment building and wants a yard and some freedom of space. We need to provide all housing for all residents of all ages, for everybody to live here and be comfortable.
Candidate Iwanicki.
This is an interesting problem because our lodge does a fantastic job in serving our community, and it's something that's partnered with the town. I think the municipality needs to take a leadership role in expanding those types of offerings for the community. That can be partnering with the lodge again and expanding it to a new location, or partnering with private organizations like the Lions Club or the Rotary Club in raising funds so we can get more housing for seniors in this community. It is embarrassing that we still have the same amount of housing for seniors in this community that we've had for 20-some years. We need hundreds of more beds, and the answer is not relying on private companies to build more apartments and hope that it's going to be affordable for people. We need to do better than that, and I think we can as a community if we collaborate with each other and work together.
Thank you very much. Next two questions are related and they're for the mayoral candidates, and it kind of wraps up the growth issue. We'll start with candidate Hansen, then Larson on this one. As mayor, what priorities would you focus on to ensure that the growth we are experiencing is managed in a sustainable way? Candidate Hansen.
Well, I think a large part of that, it really comes down to doing a great job at advocacy. We need those funds to fall in line to allow us to grow. We've done some work on that in the last number of years, but our grant funding from the province has substantially decreased over those same amount of years. So we need more work when it comes to especially our provincial partners, but also those contributions that come from a provincial level, like such as housing, healthcare, those other items. They need to come from other pockets that aren't ours to ensure that we can do that correctly.
Candidate Larson.
I feel like that we should just be making more money. So I'd like to put together some types of incentive packages and take them across the country, try and bring more industry into our town so that we have a broader tax base and we have more money for things that we need, like housing and for older people, because I'm becoming one very quickly. And yeah, I just think we need to run more like a business, get more money in here. And then if we brought people to town in the industrial area, there'd be more real jobs for the people who live here and they wouldn't have to drive to Red Deer all the time to work. So it would benefit everybody.
Don't sit down because the next question's for you. Larson, then Hansen, again, for the mayoral candidates related to this, and it came up a couple of times online. Is there a way for a mayor to ensure that local contractors get first dibs on municipal construction projects?
This is something that's really irked me over the years. When I watch contractors coming here from out of province, I cannot believe that these things happen. And although I don't know how, I know that people bid the jobs and then the council decides who's going to come. But I feel that priority needs to be given to local people. It's just an absolute must for me.
Candidate Hansen.
I would love to say yes for this, but let me explain why it's not possible. We are bound by trade agreements that tell us this has to be open market. So we create the criteria it can be applied to, but we can't give priority over local companies without breaking that, excuse me. Now what I can say, there's some more work that we can do here. We've held procurement sessions for local businesses. We can make sure we do a really good job advertising opportunities to local businesses so that they can always make sure they apply. There is criteria in many of these applications that give an extra grading for those that have local history or some of those, some other things that would probably give a local company an advantage, but legally I can't say that yes, I'd like to award the contract. If the point system came and the ranking came in and they were substantially more money or they didn't fit one of the other criteria, they didn't have the history, it's just not something we could take advantage of. It would be against the law.
Thank you. Back to the council candidates. This one is for Johannesson, Rowan Kachula, and Macaulay. Question. Sylvan Lake applied for and received housing accelerator funding from the feds, but the money came with strings attached, including forcing more density infill into existing neighborhoods. The funding also stretches our already stretched infrastructure, including access to water. Would you support more of these kinds of strings attached grant requests? Candidate Johannesson.
Thank you. I'm going to stand up because I don't know how to sit down and talk to people. It's very strange for me. So, no, I wouldn't support that. So one of the things that I'm seeing in Sylvan is look, it's great that people want to come to this town. My wife and I came here. She's a teacher at the high school here. We came here 10 years ago and love it. That's why I'm running for council. I get it. This is a great place to live. There's great people and great relationships. That's great. You want to come here. But we have to understand what we are and what we have. And right now, I care, again, I'm going back to my Lakers first motto, I care about the people who currently live here, who spend time in here, who go to the businesses in here and who work here. So we have to put a button down on the growth of the people that are coming, because right now none of those people are voting for me or paying taxes here, or voting for anyone else or paying taxes here. So we have to understand that we need to put the people who currently live in Sylvan Lake at the top of our priority. That means building the infrastructure that is falling apart in this town before we start adding more houses for more.
Time. Councillor Roncachula.
I'm just going to sit for this, but I have to say I agree with my running mate on this. Absolutely not. Anytime there's strings attached, there's consequences. So I have to say no.
Candidate McCauley.
Thank you. Passionate topic for me. I don't know how it was possible for us to sign on to the Housing Accelerator Fund. This takes away every little bit of control we have in growth and services, and while there may be some upfront money, massive back-end costs and consequences. So I just can't fathom how this was signed on to begin with.
Thank you. Next question is for McDonald, Mearns, and Ostindi. Franchise fees are collected by the town from the utility companies, and then the utility companies charge their customers for these fees to recover the charges from the town. Do you consider this a hidden tax, and is there anything you'd like to change about that system? McDonald first.
I'm going to use that honest to a fault that I have going. I actually don't have the full answer to this. It's something I actually really need to look at.
Candidate Mears.
I'll stand too, although it doesn't make a big difference. Anyways, yeah, so straight up transparency, it is a tax. It is the franchise fees are a tax, but they need to be collected one way or the other. The way we do it is through a franchise fee. We've had many discussions around the table at council to change that to be part of the tax rate. And so we've tasked administration to come back to us in our budget in the new year to have conversations about that and what that looks like and how we can change that to ensure more transparency through the franchise fees, so that it's a known thing on your tax bill and see what it is. But yeah, so more to come on that, but we've asked administration to bring back more.
Thank you.
Basically, these franchise fees are the property tax the utility company owes our town. And sadly, they then list it on the bill and they make it look like the town's charging us through them. But everybody pays property tax. When you go buy a hamburger, it doesn't say 5 cents for property tax. But when you get your utility bill, it says franchise fee from the municipality. So it's kind of like they're reminding us that this is the property tax that they owe us. That's what a franchise fee is. Unfortunately, what's very unfair about it is GST is charged on it. And we as a council have recently been talking about advocacy through the Alberta Municipalities Association to kill that idea. We shouldn't be taxed on tax. That's a principle that we have in our country. And I think we could win that fight, but we're not going to do it just as one council. We need Alberta municipalities to lobby governments to say that's not right.
Thank you. Time. All right. And this is roll of the draw, people. I had no idea when I put this together that the two of the three that were going to be answering this question are incumbent councillors, but it is what it is. Parsons, Payne, and Sawyer, your question. What is your understanding of the role of a councillor? Candidate Parsons, go.
Role of a councillor is to be an advocate for the citizens. We have to listen, we have to act, but we also have to take the advice of administration. We have to be collaborating with other municipalities on best practices, and we have to figure out which way is a balance. It's taxes. We have to pay taxes, and we have to figure out how to balance that tax money to services, and it's always a big question. People, that's where everybody gets their own opinions. If you make a decision that on service levels, and people don't like that service levels, but the others do, it's finding that balance, and that's exactly what it is. But we have to listen to the people.
Payne.
A lot of what Pars said, advocacy to the province, to the other partners, to the regional opportunities we have. Responsibility for the finances for the community, responsibility to spend wisely, to listen to what is desired, to what's needed. Accountability for what you're spending, accountability for what's necessary, for what needs to be built, for what needs to not be built. Fostering collaboration with our neighboring communities, with the regional municipalities, with everything that's around. We shouldn't be building in absentia. We should be working with people, developing partnerships with the province, using whatever opportunities we have to be able to help the growth, to help be responsible in that growth. I would say for me personally, the biggest piece is the advocacy piece, making sure that we are continually working to make Sylvan Lake better than we find it.
Thank you very much. Candidate Sawyer, your understanding of the role of a councillor.
Being I'm the new kid here, or the most experienced councillors here, they pretty well took all the words right out of my mouth. So, seconding what these two said.
Perfect. We saved some time. Thank you. All right, for Smith, Tawadros, and Thompson, how should council hold the administration, in other words, municipal staff, accountable for results without crossing into managing the day-to-day operations of the municipality? We'll start with candidate Smith.
Can I ask you to repeat the question?
How should council hold municipal staff accountable for results without crossing into managing the day-to-day operations of the municipality? In other words, you're not driving the snowplow, but how do you make sure that the people in charge of snowplows are doing their jobs as a councillor?
Okay. I think that based on I've attended a few council meetings, so I've seen sort of a little bit what it does, and sitting on the community services, a lot of the different groups from the town, they come in and they give the updates, and there's an opportunity for council to question things or ask for more information. So I think for me, it's about making sure that you've done all the reading that comes to the table and are ready to ask questions and just be an active participant to try to ask the right things, to summarize that.
Thank you. Candidate Tawadros.
I know the council, the only employee for the council is the CAO, and he's always there for the meetings on the council for the council. And there is, from time to time, there is a meeting they call a town hall, and they have all people from different departments. And this is a time for discussion and asking questions and reports from the administration. So I think this is the time where we can ask the question and bring up all the concerns of the community. And it's very important that we be in the community listening to the people, and that's the time when we bring the concerns.
Thank you. Candidate Thompson.
So Anzi mentioned the CAO, that's the Chief Administrative Officer. So that is the only employee of the town that reports to council directly and is an employee of the council. And so it would be council's duty to work with the CAO to ensure that all of the different departments are working as per the budget and as per all of the plans, the municipal development plans, and just keeping on track.
Thank you. Back to a couple of questions for the mayoral candidates. We'll start with Hanson, then Larson, and it's related to what we just dealt with. As a former mayor myself, and I know, Madam Mayor, you know this, and Candidate Larson, you'll find out if you become mayor. The relationship between a mayor and a CAO is different than the relationship between councillors and staff generally. How involved as mayor would you see yourself being in directing the town's priorities and managing its workforce? Is this exclusively the purview of the CAO, or do you as mayor get involved, and if so, to what extent? We'll start with Hanson.
That could be a really short one. No. As the mayor, you have no more authority than any other councillor, and all of our work is done as a group. So there's really no direct or different contact, I guess, between the mayor and the CAO. There's a couple ways that you might have a bit more contact with through agenda review meetings that the deputy mayor joins in, or through your CAO reviews. But the mayor really has no role in the day-to-day. Further to the answers that were just provided, the ways that you do that is through service level policy updates, through quarterly reviews of whether that's stats from a department that you can ask for at a council meeting, through budgetary reviews, but really on no individual basis. Thanks.
Candidate Larson.
Well, thank you for the education. I believe there's still a way of making your opinions and what you believe or what you want done being very clear to the CAO. So you might not have a lot of pull, but I think that you can make yourself understood really well.
All right. Next question for Unger Wilson. And then we're going to start getting a little bit random rather than going down the table. So, Anzi, you're up for this one as well. Anzi Tawadros. For Unger Wilson and Tawadros, if elected, what 3 steps would you take to put our community on a firmer financial footing? Candidate Unger.
Well, she may not really be excited about this idea, but the first thing I would do is I would ask to review a budget that is so bare bones that every penny squeaks. That's not to say that that's the budget we would accept, but as council, we need to know what the minimum is. Then we can look at what other pieces we want to put into it. So that's the first thing I would do, working together with her to really find out where those potential areas are that we can, without devastating the services that everybody's getting, to be able to actually find out where there's some potential savings that we could have.
Thank you. Candidate Wilson.
For a firmer financial footing, I think it's really important to realize that we don't want to cut current service levels. We want to maintain the service levels that we have, but the budget will be pushed a couple, months up because of what we're doing right now. And when those decisions are made, we need to keep in mind everyone that is a part of this community. Sylvan Lake should be a town that anybody can live in confidently. And if we have if we look towards some of our tourist towns that are similar to Sylvan Lake, I'm from Canmore, Alberta, and that's a town where I was priced out of living in. And so there are many ideas that if we look to our tourist town neighbors, there's such thing as a livability tax that is being put in 2026. We don't know what that's going to do yet, but it essentially taxes higher the houses that are left vacant for over 180 days of the year. So that could be something that we look for because that could lower property taxes for everybody else. Thank you.
And Candidate Tawadros.
Well, as my background is accounting and finance, and it's my kind of profession to look at the budget and read it very well, and you can't understand. The best way to do is to go back to the at least 2 years budget before and look at the financials. Then we can compare and find out where is the increase and why. Then we can ask ourselves, can we live without the increase? Is there another way to cover the if there is an increasing in services or projects? Can we cover it by a different way than raising the tax? But examining the numbers is very important, and this is my profession and my background. So I promise I will do it very carefully and deeply.
Thank you. Next question. Candidates Cole Ellis, Drevnak, and Rowan Kachula. How will you connect with segments of the community that are outside your current circle? How do we know you'll be working for all residents and not just the ones who supported you in the campaign? Cole Ellis, go.
I think personally, my dream is that if I'm elected, I can actually represent a lot of groups that haven't been represented before. I am a proud new Canadian. I'm a person with a disability. I'm a woman. And so you could say that I fall under a lot of groups that haven't always had the best chance. I also feel that when we're able to have open communication and everybody feels listened, you are able to service everyone. I think it's important to manage the expectations and to be able to have a clear understanding of what council can and cannot do. Many times that I've been talking to through this campaign, I think there's still not an understanding of truly what council can do and what council can actually do for you. And I think I would like to bridge that gap, and I think that's the best way that I'd be able to get a major representation through me. Thank you.
Thank you. Candidate Drevnak.
Can you repeat the question, please?
How will you connect with segments of the community that are outside your current circle? How do we know you'll be working for all residents and not just the ones who supported you in the campaign?
As a business owner and a parent, I look forward to connecting with other residents outside the circle. I want to expand my knowledge and diversify in more things in the community. I look forward to working with different residents in all aspects. Part of the reason I'm running right now is because I want to expand and learn more about my community and be more involved. So if that means more things, I'm very excited about it.
Thank you. Candidate Rowan Kachula, same question.
It's actually Kachula Rowan, but that's okay.
I'm sorry. Okay.
I
can go either way.
I worked for 6 years for the MLA for the Sylvan Lake and Innisfail riding. Our offices always had to be nonpartisan. We had to serve each and every one of our constituents. And the same goes for being a town councillor. You have to serve each and every citizen of the community. And I have the ability to still remain nonpartisan no matter who people are.
Thank you. Related question, and this one is from Mearns Payne and Johannesson. How would you deal with uncomfortable questions from a constituent, particularly someone who quite obviously doesn't agree with a position that you've taken or a vote on a particular issue? Another person asked the question this way: how would you handle personal conflict with a community member or group? Candidate Mearns.
Yeah, that's never happened before. It happens, I get it. There's different belief systems, there's different ways people think the community should be run. I'm not saying mine's always right, and so I welcome those conversations. If you've seen anything on my campaign, it's my phone number, my email address. Reach out and call me. I'd rather have a conversation and have a two-way conversation about your concerns. The biggest part is not only listening, but hearing what people have to say. I can count many occasions where I had an opinion on something based on my own belief system, and then talking to someone about it, getting a different perspective. It happened a week ago while I was out door knocking, and a different perspective on something that I'd never realized before. I've been in the town for 33 years, so you get sometimes set in your ways. And when this perspective came up, I was shocked that I hadn't thought that through yet. So I'm open always to have those conversations and really enjoy them.
I used to say when I was mayor, I'd sooner have people talk with me than about me. Same point. Payne.
I would say I spend the vast majority of my life with teenagers. And in doing that, you have to have the understanding that you don't know everything and you don't always have it right. So I think in my normal experience, my normal interactions, respect and just having an open mind is always absolutely invaluable. Getting rid of contention, getting rid of that aggressive need to get your point across, putting pride to the side. If you know me, you know that's not something that I have a problem with. I don't have all the answers, and I don't have all of the. I don't have everything figured out. But knowing that that's the case and making sure you maintain that respect, no matter how difficult somebody can be, they just want to be heard.
Thank you.
Can you give me just the first part of the question? It's mostly because I find your voice to be incredibly soothing, but I just want to hear the first part of it again. I'm not even lying. It's like bedtime stuff.
Oh, now I got to find it.
Just the first part. I remember the conflict
Stack
part,
of
but just the
paper here.
first part.
How would you deal with uncomfortable questions from a constituent, somebody who quite obviously doesn't agree with the position you've taken or the way you voted on a particular issue? In other words, how do you handle personal conflict?
Anyone see my Facebook lately? I deal with conflict head on. I mean, and in a respectful way. I think that one of the beautiful things about being human beings is that if we can have that conflict in a respectful way, that's how we grow. And that's how we learn, and that's how we get better, and that's how we continue to move up as human beings. My entire philosophy in my life as a coach is to teach my kids to get better every day. Hey, look, not everyone's good. This is not a Heineken, it's San Pellegrino. Not everybody is going to agree all the time, especially on a sports team, especially in a community. But it's important to listen. Like my friend Jazz, who I've coached with for a long time, said, a fantastic coach, by the way, a mentor for me as well in my life. It's about understanding that everyone's perspective comes from their own life and their own experiences. So if we shut that out, if we just ignore the conflict or we snap back, that's how we get into problems. So it's really important to make sure that we're listening, and if we listen, then we can grow and be better people, and then better counselors.
Thank you. Back to a question for the mayoral candidates only, starting with Larson, then Hanson. The mayor is a key spokesperson for council, and advocacy for our community to other levels of government is important. What is your advocacy track record, and how have you helped Sylvan or any other groups you may have been involved in to see success through advocacy efforts? Starting with candidate Larson.
As I said before, I am not a politician. I have not been involved with politics, but I've been involved with many, many things over my lifetime. I never backed down from a challenge. And as far as raising money or advocating for things, I've worked with many, many different groups, from Red Deer Sports and Leisure to the curling club to hockey to figure skating, raising money, putting on bonspiels, doing golf tournaments, things like that. And I feel that I'm a good enough talker that if I had to advocate for money for our province, or from our province for our town, I think that I'd be more than capable of doing that, especially if I really believed in it. And I looked at the funding that I was asking for, that there were no strings attached, that I didn't like, and I'm out of time.
Yes, you are.
I laugh that you said spokesperson, because I really tanked that first question there. Y'all made me nervous, but I'm getting in my groove now. I have a great advocacy track record. As a community, we've chosen over this term 4 items that were of most important to us, and 3 out of the 4 of them we've moved the needle on quite substantially. The first one was through victim services. We lost services in our community, and we did some great advocacy work, and we're able to bring that back in Sylvan Lake, and residents that are a victim of crime are receiving that service now. That's something we should be hugely proud of. We really want a new high school. We've made some great movement when it comes to that. We received pre-planning funding on that this year, and we are well on track to continue to see success in there, with the hopes of a yes that comes later this year to move on to the next stage of planning. And the final one is around AACS. This was something as a community we all rallied around together. Now our next goal has changed, saying we no longer want ambulatory care, but we need urgent care. We need a higher level in our community. And I have a meeting on that tomorrow, and I believe we're in the pre-planning.
Thank you. How are we doing, folks? We got a half hour left till the break. Is everybody okay? Just a reminder, 7:30 is 2 minutes from now. That's your deadline to get your questions, your written questions in, either over here or at the table by the cookies around the corner in the back. And we'll be dealing with those written questions after the 8 o'clock break. So we'll move on. 4 candidates, Ungers, Mearns, and Dakin. What's the best thing the town could do to support small business and to reduce the amount of vacant commercial space downtown? Candidate Unger.
Small business is a real challenge. I've run my own business for many years, and I understand the challenges of that. What a town can do, they can't control rents, and they shouldn't. There's a lot of things they can't do, but what they can do is they can give initiatives for startups. They can do various initiatives, and I haven't thought this through a lot, but because obviously it takes a bit what you can and what can't do. But I would say, to begin with, promotion of the town and making sure that small businesses have initiatives that would help them get going.
Thank you. Candidate Mearns.
Yeah, so there's a few items off the top of my head. Number 1 for me is cut red tape. The sooner that we can get new businesses in town, whether that's a building permit that's needed, a development permit that's needed, anything that we can do within administration to cut that red tape to ensure that business can get get off the ground sooner than later. That's huge in getting them going. Also, with our economic development department, to provide some coaching for those businesses to help them understand how to go through some of the process, whether that's municipally or out of the municipality, but to ensure they're successful. And I know our economic department does that now in helping new businesses get going. The other opportunity that we could explore too is a tax incentive for new businesses. Here's something else with increasing our commercial capabilities in the town is it offsets our residential tax rate. So,
thank you. Councillor Candidate Dakin.
Thank you for this question. I own a business downtown. It's very close to my heart. Something you might not know is that I was a director on the chamber for years. I've actually been a director on chambers since I was 21 years old. The snowman that you saw downtown, my husband built those in his garage with me. I'm constantly trying to do things to get the businesses busy, not just my business. I want to see everyone rise. Ships rise with a rising tide. But the issue that businesses are having in this community, because I face it often, my distillery is still not open because there's red tape. There's issues that I face every day that every business is facing. They're unnecessary hurdles that are stopping entrepreneurs from getting to a point of being able to open their doors. The fees need to be lower. We need to start making more marketing happening year round. We're doing a pretty good job, but we need to start ramping that up. Another thing that I would say is that I've sat on the WCC for years as well, trying to get the downtown businesses full. I've done that work, and I don't want to lose any more businesses down there.
Time. Thank you. Related question, and again, don't shoot the messenger. I didn't write this one. This is for Macaulay, Drevnek, and Sawyer. In your opinion, is it okay for councillors who own and operate small businesses in town to serve on council at the same time, or is this a conflict of interest? Candidate Macaulay.
Thank you. I do believe it's possible to do both. If there are areas where there is going to be a conflict, obviously you'd have to recuse yourself, but I believe that perspective is incredibly important on council. Yeah, and invaluable.
Councillor Candidate Drevnek.
I am a small business in Sylvan Lake, and here I am running for council. I listen to people all day, every day, and I get to hear a ton of different opinions and how people think about our community and how things are working and how they're not working. I hear about the changes that you want, and I think that gives me the benefit. I love hearing from the residents, whether it be their personal stories or things that affect them around the community. So I think it's a benefit because I hear you guys. I hear you loud and proud.
Thank you. Next question for Thompson, Dakin, and Tawadros. Oh, I'm sorry. We had one more candidate. I missed that. Go ahead. My mistake.
I think it's possible to do both. I've often pondered this. If you have a business that you operate in town, but the lion's share of your customers are from out of town, sitting on council, in that case, I believe it's easily done. If you're a business owner in town and you're on council, it can be done, but I always believed that you'd lose a percentage of customers, because if it was a decision that you made, sometimes just being in a political position can affect your business. So the answer to that is yes, it can be done, but I believe it would be risky.
Thank you. For Thompson, Dakin, and Tawadros, what is your take on the water shortage in Sylvan Lake? Is it a problem? If so, how serious, and what should be done to address it? Candidate Thompson.
Absolutely, the water shortage we have in town here. So we have 7 groundwater wells. There's an underground aquifer. I think for the long term, we need to tie into the Red Deer River. Now, this is long term, so I understand that we're doing, main water supply upgrades in our reservoirs. But if we're looking at over a population of 30,000 people, it's not sustainable. The aquifer is a finite resource. Each year we have less precipitation, we have less groundwater recharge, and as you increase in population, you're drawing faster and faster from that aquifer. So we need to look at a long-term solution and tying into the Red Deer River, which already supports Black Falls and Lacombe and the city of Red Deer. I think that's the best solution for us.
Dakin.
Thank you for this question. This is something I'm very passionate about. I actually sit on the Water and Wastewater Committee. One of the reasons why I'm still continuing to run for council is that my work on that committee is not done. I am this close to saving us $20 million with our regional partners and working for a long-term plan to get us tied into the water system. I'm not talking any water. I've looked at both and analyzed the Anthony Henday and the Red Deer. I think that we should tie into the Anthony Henday out at Innisfail. Now, you are going to see an increase on your taxes, or sorry, your utility bills, absolutely, pennies, but still, I will find other ways to save you money when this water can make such a big impact for generations for our community. We're already going to be saving millions of dollars on the tie around the lake. I am the person to get this job done. I am passionate about it, I am educated about it, and I am not done my work there.
Honest folks, these were randomly selected questions for randomly selected candidates. Candidate Tawadros.
Well, everybody remember last year when we were told don't water your grass, and you will be sitting in your backyard looking at your grass turning yellow. Probably we were lucky today, this year, because we prayed a lot about rain and we got it. So it's definitely a problem, and I think we need to work on it. And as a businessman, I think we can find a way to solve this, whether more wells or other solutions, without raising the taxes. If we plan strategically for the growth of the town, we can do that without having to raise the tax now. Because if we raise it now, when we do it, are we going to turn it down again? It's not going to happen.
Thank you. Next question for McDonald, Parson, and Smith. Should the town of Sylvan Lake do a better job protecting its heritage and historical buildings than it has in the past? McDonald.
Well, as everyone knows, I'm pretty new here, but I do think that we need to be protecting these things and taking care of the stuff that has been around for a long time. I think that it's important for people to see the stuff that's here and to know the history behind it.
Parson.
Okay. Oh, okay. So history is very important to Sylvan Lake and the historical buildings, but there are not that many. They've already identified them, and there isn't much more we can do other than identify them and make sure that we look after them and give them the background and make sure we share it. The other part of the history is really, our history is not historical buildings, but our lakefront, our Lakeshore Drive. One thing I'm trying to advocate for, I've been trying for 4 or 5 years, and it's at Alberta Transportation is designating Lakeshore Drive on Highway 2 as historical Lakeshore Drive, because Lakeshore Drive is as historical of drive as any in the province. So looking after our history is just one of the biggest things, I think.
Candidate Smith.
I agree with both of my counterparts. I think that history is very important and you want to maintain it. The buildings that we have, we want to make sure they stay solid with infrastructure, and maybe we can look for ways to shine some spotlights on them so that they can have some, so everybody knows about them. I know a few of them, but I'm sure I do not know all the ones in the town.
Thank you. For candidates Unger, Wilson, and Bilodeau, do you have any thoughts on following the lead of communities such as Lacombe and Tabor and replacing RCMP policing with a municipal police force? Unger.
The short answer, yes, I have thoughts. I have historically been a huge supporter of the RCMP. Unfortunately, as an organization, not as the individuals, but as an organization, that has eroded significantly over the last number of years. I think we need to look at and consider the possibility of that replacement. No, that's a 2-year, and you have to give 2 years' notice, and that's March 31st, I believe it is. So that's a long-term thing. Even if you made the decision today, it would be 2 years from now before we saw anything there. The Alberta province is also looking at an Alberta police force, so I think that needs to be considered. Certainly, again, all of this has a cost involved with it, and we need to look at all of those details.
Thank you. Candidate Wilson.
Not a contentious question at all, hey? Listen, there's a lot to consider here, and when you consider it, it is, as Al said, it comes down to cost, right? So when we're considering how much an RCMP member costs to the town, it's upwards of $260,000. So we would need to look and see what that cost would be if there was an Alberta police force. I am a proud Laker, proud Albertan, third-generation Albertan, but also a proud Canadian. So for me, there is some history tied to this as well that we would need to weigh along with the cost. So there are so many factors to consider. Thank you.
Candidate Bilodeau.
First of all, I want to say, how is everybody doing? This is tough up here. Can you please give me the question again?
Thoughts on following Tabor, Lacombe, and moving away from RCMP and into municipal policing?
I firsthand, that's a tricky subject because I think listening to the residents of Sylvan Lake, there is issues around feeling safe in this community. I know for my husband and I, we own a business in this town, and we have had a lot of dealings with the RCMP, and they have done a great job. They're always investigating, and honestly, this is a tricky subject because we want to feel safe in this community. Is the RCMP doing that job for us? There's a lot we have to consider with budget, but you know, the RCMP has worked well for us as business owners, so I haven't got a complaint directly, but you know, the important subject is we need to look into all these issues. We need to make sure that what we're currently doing is working for us.
Thank you. Next question for Collins, Drevnak, and Johannesson. Looking for solutions with respect to youth in our community, specifically around vandalism, bullying, petty crimes, and the ones causing harm, is the way the question was written. Would you support a return to a time and age-based curfew for young people to discourage unsupervised behavior after hours? Collins. Start the timer over, please. There you go. Go ahead.
I would support for the youth a little bit of education for some of the consequences that their parents need to dish out, I think. Because in where I grew up, my parents were the people that disciplined me when I went astray. And I can tell you, my father, he never once had to raise his hand like my mother did, but my father, all he had to do was look at you and he would burn holes right through you, and you know when you made a mistake. And I think that's lacking in a lot of the youth today. Not to paint everybody with the same brush, but I have seen instances where I shake my head and I go, like, where did that come from? Thank you.
Thank you. Drevnak.
I'm kind of glad I got this question because I feel very passionate about it. I see the vandalism and I see the boredom. So this question goes hand in hand with two different directions for me. I think we need to come down harder on bylaws. I think kids and people of Sylvan Lake need to be held more accountable for their wrong actions. But also coming with that, I think we need to provide another option of kids of a certain age something to do. We have families working 2 jobs full time, and these kids, what are they doing? They're sitting around on their phones. And I think that these kids need another outlet of something to do. So when I look at our teenagers, yes, we have the flip side, but do they want to go there? Is it cool enough? I think our teenagers need another outlet of something that is affordable, fun, and somewhere that they can connect. They need a hub. So I think if they have something to do, and then they're also given stronger punishment.
Johansson.
Yeah, you know, this is obviously really close to me. I've spent my entire life coaching youth. My wife's a teacher, a very beloved teacher. I was a troubled kid myself. I got into a lot of mischief, and excuse me if I get a little emotional whenever I talk about this, but I'm extremely passionate about this. It's not about putting curfews on things. I mean, other towns have done that. We can look at that and get consultation with people. But it's about empowering youth. It's about, you know, for example, in my sports camps that I run, one of the things I always do is I take the older kids and I get them to mentor the younger kids. The older kids love it because they have a sense of leadership, a sense of purpose, and the younger kids love it because they get to look up to these kids and they view them as heroes. We have to start engaging the youth. If I'm elected to council, I want to start a youth advisory committee where the youth get to come and tell council, this is what ideas we came up with. These are the things that we would like to have happen. I'll end with this. Boredom is the enemy of safety. Engaged youth are a part of the solution. Let's stop coming down on our youth. Let's start lifting them up and realizing the potential that these people have because they're our future leaders. Thank you.
Thank you. I almost heard a big round of applause there. For Macaulay, Payne, and Smith. And again, I'm quoting, this is not my question, folks. What should be done about rampant speeders, stunting, and loud mufflers? And the questioner asks, in the majority of vehicles on our streets. I'm not sure that's accurate. I visit here quite a bit, and most of the drivers are pretty respectful, but okay. What should be done about rampant speeders, stunting, and loud mufflers in the majority of vehicles on our streets? Macaulay, Payne, and Smith. Macaulay.
Well, we control bylaws as far as noise limits, etc. There are multiple different ways to take care of speeders through speed bumps or other physical barriers that we could put in place, but ultimately it's not what I want, it's what the residents want, because each one is going to come with a side back or drawback to the residents if you have a speed bump in front of your place or you know, these laws. We have to, it's one thing to sit up here and espouse that we're going to do this or we're going to do that, but ultimately what affects you is what really matters. So yeah, there's a lot of things that we could look at and propose, but it's to me what Sylvan Lakers are wanting and needing.
Candidate Payne.
Right now, we have some speed mitigation around the community. We have speed bumps. We have the bump outs. And I think those things do work to a certain extent, especially around the school zones. But I think stricter enforcement by the RCMP, stricter enforcement is always going to be a better piece. When you get punished for something, you have a tendency to not want to do it again. And I think that needs to happen. But one of the areas that I won't ever endorse is speed cameras. I hate them. I don't think they do a very good job in curbing that sort of behavior. So really, in all honesty, this really comes down to enforcement. It comes down to a greater presence on the streets, taking care of those things. I'm somewhat like you. I don't think I've seen a lot of this in the community. There are some. You know, I live in an area where I'm very close to 60th Street, so yeah, it gets loud. Not as loud as it is at Mr. Parsons' house, but it's there.
Time. Thank you. Candidate Smith.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not sure how big of an issue it is and what areas it's in, so I would definitely want to talk more with the municipality and the enforcement to find out if they've seen this. I do agree with Jazz that I think it is an enforcement thing. I think you have to, you know, figure out the areas it's happening in, just like they do with the radar for the speeding, you know, to tell you you're going too fast, and then the next day you see somebody sitting there to, you know, make sure you're going the 30 in the school zone. So I would say it's more enforcement than it is speed bumps.
Thank you. Next question, this one for Wilson, Cole Ellis, and Collins. What is your position on gender diversity, specifically whether the town needs to do more to support this diversity, including transgendered, non-binary, gender fluid, and gay, bi, lesbian youth? Would you support the notion of giving them safe spaces where they're free to be themselves, away from bullying from their peers or from adults? Wilson.
So, because I work at the high school, this is something that I encounter a lot. And I always come at it from a stance of inclusivity. It doesn't matter who you are, you should have a safe place to go. So, I could have a student come to me and say, I don't feel safe because I'm gay, and I can give them a safe space. I had a student come to me a couple weeks ago that said, I don't feel like I'm able to talk about what I want to talk about. And I said, what do you want to talk about? And he said, I want to talk about Charlie Kirk. And I said, then you know what? Here's a safe space. You go ahead and talk about Charlie Kirk. So if we are creating a situation where everyone feels loved and safe to be, you can only survive if your hierarchy of needs is met. Are you clothed? Have you eaten? Are you safe? Great. And if you live in a community where you don't feel that you are safe to be who you are, then we're not doing our job as a council, and we're not doing our job as a society. Thank you.
Candidate Cole Ellis.
I think this is a little bit of a loaded question. So in terms of inclusivity and in case of a space, absolutely, I think everyone, absolutely every human being deserves a space that they can feel themselves. So support groups, actual spaces, programs. Now, when we turn it into, for example, DEI hiring, so hiring because of your identity, your gender, your sexuality, that's where I draw the line. I think that is beside the point, and in many cases, in case, for example, of hiring, I think it should kind of come to the best candidate for the job. I think I'm not a huge proponent of kind of, if you really want to be inclusive, that should be beside the point. So I have to agree with, of course, the safe space, supporting our school trustees with their programs. But I do think that in terms of actual program.
Time. Collins.
Could you repeat the question, please?
Your position on gender diversity. Does the town need to do more to support this diversity, including transgendered, non-binary, gender fluid, and gay, bi, lesbian youth? Would you support the notion of giving them safe spaces where they're free to be themselves, away from bullying from their peers or adults?
No, the town does not need to provide anybody a safe space as far as I'm concerned, simply because the hiring needs to be done based on merit and merit alone. There's a lot of cancel culture that's going on out there that I see. One thing that I can remember when my daughter graduated from H.J. Cody, and I don't even know, many years ago, at the the place where they go graduate, one of the things they said was, dance like nobody's watching. And a couple days later, I let her know that what they didn't tell you was you can only dance like nobody's watching if you dance to their tune, if you know what I mean. And if you don't know the definition of cancel culture, look it up.
Thank you. Next question for Coachella Rowan, Ostindi, Parsons, and Johannesson. We're moving into, I said some questions will be for 4 candidates because we're trying to keep everybody level here. So for Coachella Rowan, Ostindi, Parsons, and Johannesson, how will you work to ensure that Sylvan Lake is a welcoming and accessible community for families with disabilities, both generally and in the provision of services like recreation? Coachella Rowan.
I'm kind of at a loss on this question, to be honest. Pardon? I know, exactly, right? I really don't know much about this question, so I'm going to have to decline the answer. I am happy to learn, and if anybody wants to get back to me after the fact, I would definitely be happy to answer.
Thank you for saving us all some time. Next, Ostindi.
Welcoming. Yeah, put a smile on in a real simple sense. We have a welcome wagon in effect in our town for new people. I volunteer every week at the library with new residents coming to our town, and a lot of it is language learning, for instance. So we talk about, how do people fit in? Well, I help people fit in. Old infrastructure, old buildings, they're not always accessible for those who have physical challenges, and the town has been examining, especially the old community hall. A report has been done to say, how do we have to alter that? Because You can even picture it as an able-bodied person. You can't even squeeze by two people into the bathroom, right? So these are issues that we have in our town, especially with the old infrastructure. New infrastructure is pretty easy because we have new building codes. So those are ongoing, and slowly, we'll hopefully quicker, we'll see these things change.
Time. Parsons.
Repeat the question again.
How will you work to ensure Sylvan is a welcoming and accessible community for families with disabilities, both generally and in the provision of services like recreation?
Well, I really do think that we do a pretty good job, especially we've grown so fast with our amenities and whatnot that we have provided moving forward with those accessible issues. And as Councillor Stindy said, with the older ones, we are looking at getting those all up to speed. But in reality, for our sidewalks, our new buildings and everything, we have building codes and whatnot to basically work with that. And I think the town's done a pretty good job.
And Johannesson.
I mean, Lakers first. I mean, that means everybody. It includes every single person. That's why I went with it. It's because it's simple. You know, back in my day, we had the golden rule: treat everyone the way you want to be treated. That includes everybody: disability, able-bodied, sexual identity. I do not care about any of that stuff working on town council. That's irrelevant to me. We're all human beings. And all of us, every single person in this room, deserves the same love and respect and dignity to use all the things that we have in this town. Now, I don't have great answers on how we can build the infrastructure. The wonderful thing about me is I've built a successful business that only takes up 8 to 10 hours of my week, which allows me to make council my full-time job. And I take that incredibly seriously. I think that's an important distinction because I'm able to now talk to people who have disabilities and to ask them, what do you need to make your life better? What can we do as a town to make your life better? So 10 seconds, long story short, it doesn't matter to me who you are, where you come from, what you believe in. On council, I'm working for every single person, and I will listen to every single person all day long if that's what it takes. Thank you.
Thank you. Next question, and the last one before the break, and this one should be fairly quick. This is for Iwanicki, Sawyer, and Thompson. Are you connected with, or a volunteer for, or have any volunteers from any group assisting in your campaign, from any formal or informal group or party like Take Back Alberta, the Alberta Prosperity Project, or the Central Alberta Municipal Conservatives? Candidate Iwanicki.
It's a lightning round question. No.
All right. Sawyer and Thompson.
As for volunteers for the campaign, I have friends and family with my signs and campaign-related volunteering. Other than that, I can't really comment on a topic, so I'll have to pass it on.
All right.
I am completely independent. I've had 0 contributions to my campaign. It came completely out of pocket, and I am independent.
Thank you. Just before we take the break, I have a question that's a show of hands. Some people who submitted questions say they noticed a lot of similar language and verbiage and even slogans in the campaign literature and the stuff they're hearing from various candidates. Some people are wondering whether those similarities could be explained by the use of artificial intelligence. Yes, folks, we have some suspicious folks out there. A simple show of hands. Raise your hand if you admit to using AI like ChatGPT or something like that to develop or write your campaign materials. Anybody? Well, there you go. See?
Sorry, what's ChatGPT? I don't know what that is.
Well, there you have your answer. Folks, we're going to take a 10-minute break, which means we'll reconvene at 8:15, because I know how this works. But 8:15 sharp, we'll be back here. Thank you. Everybody back to your seats, please. We'd like to get going again. Everybody, please have a seat. Okay, are we ready? I'd like to resume before 8:15. We did say a 10-minute break. I'm a realist, but I'm also a guy that wants to keep moving. Are all the candidates back at the table? Okay. We're going to get going again. Questions for candidates Cole Ellis, Iwanicki, and Parsons. Our current public library is just over 7,000 square feet and getting too small for our current population. What is your perspective on building a new library? Cole Ellis.
Hello. I was really hoping I would get this question. Yes. It's one of the reasons that I'm actually running. We're long overdue a library. It's not a luxury, it's a necessity. I would love to propose a library/cultural center. I think there are many opportunities to tie this into cultural tourism. Canmore has done a fantastic job with cultural tourism. I think our theater community is growing. I think our arts community is growing. I think it would be a fantastic safe haven for the bored teens that are doing mischief. And we can tie it into community programs. I was able to meet with the director of the library and understand some of the needs. The collections, it doesn't keep up with the demand. And so I would be happy to collaborate not only with the library committee, I'd be happy to advocate as well with Provincial and Federal. There are multiple
Time.
grants that
Thank
we're
you.
able to.
Iwanicki.
So I'm a member of the library board. It actually was more or less the first thing I did when moving here. And the reason I joined the board was because I have a 6 and a 4-year-old daughter. And we taught them from a very early age, you need to read. You need to go, you need to learn, you need to explore things, you need to be creative. And I love our library in this town. It is a fantastic resource, but it is tiny. Comparing to relatively sized towns, it's about a quarter of the size of comparable municipalities. And not only is it too small, it doesn't have the collections that it needs in order to support and provide services to our community. So I'm a strong proponent, or strongly propose that we consider expanding that space by building a new building. I'll echo what Ruby said, that I think a joint cultural space is a good idea to explore. I think we have a great, growing, thriving theater community, and we should look at them as well.
Thank you. Parsons.
Well, one thing I learned when I got on council was the library is one of the busiest public space for the citizens in town, in any town. The library is one of those things that is invaluable. And I've been around long enough when we were building this one, and it was supposed to take us well into the future. There was plans for one to maybe when we built Fox Run and Mother Teresa School to collaborate and move it up there. That never happened, so we ended up where we are. We grew and we grew and we grew, and now it's time. We do need it. And I just learned a big lesson on everything from what Ruby said. That was awesome. So I'm all for that and all for the suggestions that were made.
Thank you very much. Next question for Ustindi, Payne, Smith, and Sawyer. This is a 4-candidate question. There's been a trend at many levels of government and in some industries toward a hiring policy that includes so-called diversity, equity, and inclusion considerations to benefit underrepresented demographics in the hiring process. This sometimes leads to people being hired, at least in part, in recognition of their racial status, sexual identity, or disability. Sylvan Lake does not currently have a DEI hiring policy. If elected, would you support a DEI hiring emphasis for the town? Starting with Ustindi.
Simple answer would probably be no, because I believe our HR department is actually very welcoming to all people. And at the same time, as a white male, I can say I feel great privilege. And nobody ever yelled at my mom and dad to say go back to their country. But I've heard people say that to other people. And I am a first-generation Canadian. And so I recognize the inequities that we have in our country sometimes for many, not sometimes, for many groups. But at the same time, I believe that our town is welcoming and hires on merit and openness to whoever you are. And so I'm comfortable with the idea of no, we don't need a policy.
Thank you. Candidate Payne.
I also believe we don't need a policy. I do not support affirmative action. I support hiring the best person for the position. And I do believe that if you do the right work in looking for the right individual and finding the best people, naturally you're going to have diversity. And I think if you have policies that force you into hiring for something other than the job that's being hired for, you get into a dangerous situation where you're hiring the wrong people when you could be having the best people. So I do think that that we should hire the best people. I do think that naturally diversity will happen if you spend the time hiring the best people. I've got 17 seconds. Anyone want to tell a joke? No?
Thank you. Candidate Smith.
I agree with Jazz and Ian. I'm not sure I would support needing an actual policy. I think that, you recruit and you keep open and you hire the best person for the job, regardless of any of those other factors.
And Sawyer.
With the other candidates, same thing. I'm a no. I don't believe that this would work. I feel that it's like they say, it's the best candidate for the job, irregardless of your race, your background, male or female. I personally have a lot of, I like women in the workplace. They're really good at multitaskers. They're really good multitaskers, I find, so.
Careful.
I'm still a no.
Thank you. All right, this is for the mayoral candidates, and I'm picking a question that was submitted from the floor in one of the boxes. And for this one, we'll start with Hanson, then go to Larson. Here's your question. Are you in favor of turning short-term Airbnbs into being taxed at a commercial tax rate? And if so, would you consider it for home-based businesses as well, as Airbnbs are no more discrete than a home-based business? And let's start with Hanson.
Sure, I think this is something to look into further. I will say I'm not completely opposed to it. There are impacts on your neighborhood that are quite substantial having an Airbnb in your neighborhood, and there is a substantial revenue that comes from those properties. At the end of the day, I want the best thing for people who live here first, for Lakers first. I like that saying. And if that means there's a tax increase that could come from those that are solely out of town, that would reduce the taxes or eliminate additional taxes for those that live here every day and enjoy our communities, I think it's something we at least have to explore. But I really don't know enough about other communities that have successfully inputted this to know if it really could be successful. So more research needed, but I'm not a no.
Larson.
I don't know about the rest of you, but I'm sick and tired of being taxed to death. And I've run Airbnbs for years in this town. And I don't feel like, I know Megan said that it brings in a substantial amount of income, but that's not true. It doesn't, because many times my Airbnb would sit empty during the winter. And after I pay for everything that I have to pay for to have that Airbnb, there's not a ton of money left over. And taxes just at some point need to end. And I think that when you own your own property, you should be able to do what you want with it. And as long as you're not affecting your neighbors. And the entire time I ran Airbnbs, I never had one complaint. My neighbors always told me, I asked them to watch for anything, they always told me, you're good.
Thank you. Okay, for Wilson, Iwanicki, and Mearns, and if candidate Iwanicki's getting lots of questions now, he only had one in the first half. It just, the random picks, he just ended up getting loaded up here in the back end. I don't know what happened, but there you go. So for Wilson, Iwanicki, and Mearns, tourism is a big part of Sylvan Lake's economy, but could also put pressure on our environment and our lake health. As a councillor, how would you balance promoting tourism with protecting the lake and surrounding environment for long-term sustainability?
So in terms of promoting tourism, we would want to make sure that we're working closely with Travel Alberta and making sure that we are promoting Sylvan Lake not as a one-trick pony town with 3 shoulder seasons, but a town that can be visited all year long. As far as the health of the lake, I've got some ideas on this because this is the #1 complaint I've heard from residents, and it breaks my heart to hear people say we don't even go down to the lake anymore. And the lake should be for the residents because we're footing the bill for everything down at the lake. So garbage cans, more bylaw officers, yes, but a bylaw officer costs us 80 grand. So I'm thinking positive reinforcement along with these other measures. Positive reinforcement works on dogs, it works on kids, and it'll work on tourists. So if we can do some positive ticketing to enforce our rules, but also educate tourists on how amazing Sylvan can be if they follow the rules, then I think we've got a winning combination. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mearns.
Yeah, so tourism is vital to our community. If you talk to any business in town, they need tourism to make it through the shoulder season. But at the same time, we need to ensure that our residents are taken care of at the same time and being able to enjoy the community. A focus for me as I sit on the Tourism Development Committee is working with other businesses and alongside them and understanding what's important to them and to help them through part of the shoulder season. In talking to some of the restaurateurs in town, they're very, very busy in the summer, even without tourism actually entering their businesses. So one thing for me for sure is to be able to support our businesses in the shoulder season to ensure they're taken care of and to ensure that they can make it through the seasons. Also to promote shoulder season events. We see the ice dragon boat races. So to take advantage of our community throughout the whole year, not just in the summertime.
Thank you. A related question, and this one is for Bilodeau, Tawadros, and Ustindi.
I'm still here.
Oh, I'm sorry. My bad. My bad. The table's so far away. I can't see what I'm doing here. Go ahead.
I think the most important thing we need to keep in mind is that for the vast majority of people that come and visit here, they're not boating around. They're hanging out on the beach, and unfortunately garbage accumulates. Whenever you get a ton of people together, if anyone's ever been to a concert or a festival, look at that grounds after they all leave. A lot of it is inadvertent. A lot of it is not people eating a chocolate bar and hucking the wrapper on the ground. But at the same time, that does exist, and we have to recognize it. And one of the ways I think we need to come together as a community, about a month ago, the town hosted a volunteer beach cleanup. Things like that is a way that we all get together as individuals to go around and pick up garbage. I don't even want to guess how many cigarette butts we picked up when we did that, but it was garbage bags full of them for, well, anyway, icky. But just, community-led events, that's something we can do, costs nothing, right? And making it known to people we can do those types of things is important.
Thank you. Anybody else? Mearns, right? Okay. Next question, it's related to this. It's for Bilodeau, Tawadros, and Ustindi. Is there a way to generate revenue from the tourism industry to help clean up the lake so taxpayers aren't left footing the bill? Starting with Bilodeau.
The lake, one of our biggest hot topics, and honestly, we have to protect it. As a long-term resident, I'm going to say that as long as I've been here, I really don't go to the lake anymore, which is kind of sad. Our beaches are covered with visitors. It does bring in tourism money, which is important. But I have ideas for increased revenue, but mostly just cost savings. So I'm really going to go out on a limb here and speak my truth. I hear from residents that the tents and the barbecues are the problem. I believe that the residents feel that throughout the town, and we have gotten from a place where we used to put down a towel and a single pole umbrella to keep the kids out of the sun to people staking claim for their entire families on the beach with barbecues. It's my understanding years ago we actually didn't even have barbecues allowed on the beach.
Time. Tawadros.
Well,
I believe there are ways to do that, and to. I think I have a proposal, but with the condition if the residents of Sylvan Lake will support that, which is close all the parking on the beach, on the lakeshore, and create parking out of town, and people can park and shuttle to the town, and have shuttle to tour all the town that serves the residents of Sylvan Lake, and people can pay for that. And the big thing, I'm a big fan of involving the private businesses into this. The town should not like operate everything, but if we can have an investor or business owners to take that project and we just collect lease or share of the revenue, I think that would be good. Again, it needs study and approval by the residents of Sylvan Lake.
And Ustindi on this one.
People have been coming since before we were a village. And the complaints I've heard about the beach and not wanting to cross the tracks have been here since our family arrived in 2007. So this is an old problem. In the last couple of years, the paid parking zones have been expanded to raise more revenue. And revenue used to be, when it first came out, around $250,000 a year, extra revenue from tourism. And now it's around 400,000 because of the extra areas. So we're collecting a heck of a lot of money, and we have to reconcile that with how much are we spending. And we actually are spending more on the waterfront by roughly, in the number I really ballparked it the other day, about $100,000. And we would spend that money if there are tourists or not. That park exists, we'd be taking care of it. So that's a big part of it, is revenue generation from the parking.
Thank you. That's it for this one, right? I got burned a couple times because I wasn't paying attention. Okay, a question from the floor, and this one we'll give to Thompson, Collinge, and McCauley. I'd like to develop a casino hotel conference center with an auditorium in Sylvan Lake. Would you approve the removal of the gambling bylaw that's in place in Sylvan Lake now? Thompson, Collinge, and McCauley. Thompson, it says.
Sorry, can you just repeat that question?
I'd like to develop a casino hotel conference center with an auditorium in Sylvan Lake. Would you support the removal of the gambling bylaw in Sylvan Lake? I don't even know if there is a gambling bylaw. We didn't have time to research the question. I'm just repeating what's on the paper.
So you'd have to first look at your strategic plan and what you have in for your 5 or 10-year capital plans, your municipal development plan, and what does the community want and what does the community need? Do we have the resources to support it? Do we have enough water? Do we have the infrastructure to support that large-scale project? And I mean, we live close to Red Deer. There's already a casino there, just off Gates Avenue. So is there a demand? And I just think if the residents don't want it, then why would we consider removing that gambling bylaw? I'm not sure either if we have one. So thank you.
Thank you. Collinge.
No, I would not support removing that bylaw. I think we've got enough addictions as it is, what with the social media, plus all the other addictions that are out there. And if I'm not mistaken, I thought I heard a few years back that you couldn't put a casino in anyways unless it was Aboriginal, or whatever term they use today. And I think that's relevant, but I'm not sure. Anyways, no, I would not support that. Thank you.
Thank you. And McCauley.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, I'm extremely pro-business. I'm not sure whether there's a bylaw on this or not. But ultimately, again, it is up to the will of the residents of Sylvan Lake. I wouldn't want to make a decision either way. So if the will of the people supported such an idea, if there was viability to it, then absolutely I'd support it. But I'm here to work for you.
Thank you. Next question is for Unger, Dakin, McDonald, and Iwanicki. And the question is, again from the floor, a common theme in this election is the word transparency. While it's a great talking point, what specifically would you recommend should change for more transparency? Unger, Dakin, McDonald, and Iwanicki.
Well, without looking at all of the details, I think it's a nuanced question. But clearly, communication is the number one thing to be transparent. You have to know what we're thinking. You should know where we're voting. You should know our positions on things. But more importantly, we should also be hearing from you in terms of what of the direction that you want us to go. Transparency is a two-way street. A full reporting and you know, you've got the phone numbers. You've got to be able to contact us. You've got to be able to talk with us. Communication and that's what transparency is about for me.
I'm getting a question from the audience here. Could the candidates stand when they speak? Because some folks can't see everybody clearly and they're not sure who they're dealing with. So go ahead. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. You're next.
That's okay. Thank you for the question on transparency. I have done work on this. I found an opportunity for you as residents to see exactly how every single councillor votes. I know that I think differently, but I only vote in ways that the community wants. I truly come to that council table and I say, this is what I'm hearing, this is the way I'm voting. I remove myself as a person because that's my job as a councillor. What I did was something that every councillor needs to know how to do, which is put forward a notice of motion to get a change in place. I put forward a notice of motion for all votes to be counted. So now when you go on to any of our meeting minutes, you can see exactly how Councillor Dakin voted, exactly how any of our future councillors are going to be voting. Transparency is key to making sure that you are educated about how we vote and why we vote that way. And I vote every way that you want me to vote. So transparency is key, and I will continue to find ways to be more transparent.
Thank you. Next.
Me? Right.
I had McDonald and Iwanicki, so yeah, go ahead.
I'll go if you don't mind me interrupting. Transparency is a bit of a complex issue because the town is, in fact, remarkably transparent. I think the actual problem is that it's difficult to locate what you're looking for, right? The information's there, but it's not as intuitive as one would normally think. All of our council meetings are recorded, as an example. You can find out how people voted on issues. But I think it's a communications problem, right? I think people feel like the town, its councillors, what have you, maybe are not communicating effectively to the people. And what I plan on doing about that is opening myself up. I'm an open book. Ask me complicated questions, I'm happy to answer them. Ask me difficult questions, I'm happy to answer them. I plan on keeping that forward. I'm gonna keep my contact information available. Bump into me in the street, I'll talk to you. That's why I can't really door knock, because I only hit 2 houses, right? I'll talk.
Time. McDonald.
I actually really love this question. I agree with Councillor Dakin on all votes that we do should be like for the public. Everybody should be able to see how we're voting. I think that for me, I live life being very open, very honest. I often put my foot in my mouth, but I would rather do that and live that way, and I would rather be that way with the residents so that they know exactly what they're getting and who, you know, the decisions that are being made that are in their best interest.
Thank you. And this is actually one of the other questions, which I'm not going to ask, but I just want to put it out there. Would you propose that council names be made public as to how they vote? And I checked with the mayor because she knows, and the votes are already recorded and they're in the council minutes. So there's the answer to that question. Now I have a question for the candidates. Who here has received fewer than 4 questions? Anybody? Okay, there's 2 at the end. All right, then for those 2, and I can't even see who you are because you're too far away. For those 2, the last question before a wrap-up question for the mayor. And that is, at a time of municipal politics, oh no, wrong one. How do you handle concerns in various areas of our community? In some places there are wards. We have an at-large system. How is that handled in Sylvan Lake, or how should it be handled?
So Sylvan Lake is a large area, and there are many diverse concerns. For instance, I live in an older part of Sylvan Lake near the Bethany, and so when I go door knocking around and talking to people in my own neighborhood, I'm learning a lot about their concerns and the idea that they're worried about their water. They're worried about the infrastructure, especially on 46th Ave, that's had a little bit of construction and maybe not fixed up with the infrastructure. Whereas you go to some of the new areas of town and they've got completely different concerns. So I think that it's important to diversify. It's important to, number one, not focus solely on the new developments in town, but make sure that our house is in order and that we also are taking care of the older parts of town as well. Thank you.
Thank you. And to the other person who had fewer than 4 questions, go ahead.
Can you please repeat the question?
No, I'm not going to find it. How would you handle concerns in various areas of the town? In some places, there's a ward system. We don't have that in Sylvan Lake. How should we deal with that here?
Each area is unique. Like in my case, my property is recently annexed where I live. And I got developments at both ends of me. The concern of water in the town is of a great concern. It's been mentioned a few times in people that I have spoke with. That is a high priority, whereas speed limits, vehicles running around all night, no mufflers, racing is definitely a concern that has been brought to my attention as well. That's all I really have to say on that topic.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you very much. The final question is for the 2 mayoral candidates, and we'll have Larson go first. No, we'll have Hanson go first and then Larson. We're trying to alternate back and forth here. And this is kind of a airy-fairy thing to close the night. If elected, what do you hope Sylvan Lake residents will remember about you after your 4-year term in office is complete? Candidate Hanson.
Well, thank you for the opportunity to summarize my platform. It's funny, an airy-fairy question, because I am the least airy-fairy person. I really struggle through strat planning sometimes because I want to get to the tangible things we can do to fix the problems that we're having in our community. But ultimately, the things that are important to me is keeping Sylvan Lake family-friendly, which means that your grandparents can stay here, your family is happy here, ensuring that we are safe, and ensuring that we are a connected community. I think a lot of problems can be solved when we know our neighbors and we know them well. And I do this really well. I hate to toot my own horn on this, but for 7 years I've been planning a block party in my own neighborhood. I know the name of everyone that lives there, and there's 100 houses on my crescent. We do a neighborhood Easter egg hunt. We do so many things to connect us as a block, and I think that that is so important community-wide. If you know who's next door to you, crime goes down, you make better connections, youth are more engaged. And I think that needs to be a real focus on top of the fiscal priorities that are before us. Thanks.
It takes you 7 years to plan a block party? Sorry. Larson, what do you want to be remembered for after 4 years in office if you win?
Things I'd like to be remembered for is massive change, a huge cleanup of our lakefront, no tents, no barbecues, learning ways to make money from our tours so that our residents don't have to pay for their cleanup. I want people to remember me for lower taxes, for better infrastructure, for more opportunities, more investment, more money made in town. I just want to see us grow and be beautiful. I want this town to be known by everybody so we attract more tours. I have so many ideas you guys cannot even imagine. I just want the opportunity to get in there and do something.
Thank you very much. Okay, it's time for closing statements, and these are 45 seconds. And we're going to do the opposite to what we did with the opening statements. We're going to start at the far end of the table with Wilson and just work our way this way, and Candidate Hanson will be the last one. So closing statements, 45 seconds. Candidate Wilson, go.
Thank you. at the end of the day, everyone up here brings a unique set of skills to the table. And you could be retired, you could be a stay-at-home parent, you could be unemployed. But I honestly believe that my skill set as being a teacher in town works for me, not against me. My full-time job makes sure that I have a finger on the pulse of what matters to Lakers and to the youth in town. So at the end of the day, I am a Laker for life, and I want to have the opportunity to advocate for the lives of Lakers. Thank you very much.
Next.
Well, thank you again for this opportunity to be here, and thank you for coming out and expressing your interest in this election. It's important. And I want to go back to the comments I made right to begin with. Prayer is the most important thing that we have in terms of steering us through the future. We don't know what's coming. We need people who will stand with character. We need people who will be able to have wise decisions. And your prayers make a difference. Your prayers in the election, and then afterwards, pray for the leaders that are here, whether they're civic, provincial, or federal. They make a difference. Thank you.
Thompson.
I'd like to extend a thank you to the town for hosting this event, and thank you all, residents, for coming out. On my campaign trail, the largest concern I heard was that of taxation and utility costs. Every municipality struggles to provide the service levels needed while keeping costs to the ratepayer affordable. So bottom line is that there's never going to be enough money and there's never enough resources. So if elected, I promise to work tirelessly to ensure responsible spending and ensure that budget is based on the needs of the community. I will use my science and biology background for lake management issues, and I would support a sustainable tourism plan. The community needs a councillor that listens to and serves the residents. We need a fresh perspective, an effective listener, and someone that puts the needs of the residents first every time.
Thank you. To others.
With the experience and community involvement for many years, I hope this is a time for me to serve you and give back in a different capacity. And I'm going to close this with the invitation for tomorrow night at this place. It's my own personal initiative. And graciously, the two candidates for mayor are coming for a mayor debate. This should tell you how kind of a leadership I'm bringing to the table. I hope to see you all tomorrow, and when you vote, vote on Situados, beside whoever you will vote for. Thank you.
Smith.
Thank you all for coming. Thank you all for coming out tonight. As we move forward, let's remember the key points that will help us build a better Sylvan Lake. Effective waste management is crucial. And by composting all year round, moving to weekly recycling pickups and bi-weekly garbage, we can create a cleaner, greener neighborhood. Community involvement is at the heart of my platform, and I encourage everyone to attend council meetings, participate in local events, and share your ideas. Lastly, I look forward to exploring ways to let our fur babies run free and enjoy more green spaces. Together, we can make a positive impact and shape a brighter future for our community. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for all attending tonight. I'm here to serve you all if I'm elected for council. I want to improve Sylvan Lake for the future generations and for current times. I want to assure responsible spending. I will collaborate with my fellow councilors if elected. I always make myself available, whether it's by phone or email. My email is always open. Please vote Pat Sawyer.
David Payne.
My record is one of support for responsible development, in keeping housing affordable, strong infrastructure to support the community, support for our youth, for our schools, for our libraries. These aren't just talking points for me. This is how I live my life, in focusing on families, focusing on the youth and kids in our community. This election is about the Sylvan Lake that we want to build, the Sylvan Lake we want to continue to have. We're here because we love this community. Everybody on this table is here because we love this community. I've been able to build my experience and show my accountability and show the integrity that's required to be in this position. My name is Jazz. I hope you vote for me.
I'm still the oldest guy up here. And, but that doesn't mean that I'm not the youngest thinker. I'm a busy guy, okay? I have, in the summertime, we do the hockey camp. It's world famous. It's been here forever. It brings thousands and thousands of people to town. In the winter, I manage 2 arenas in Bentley and Caroline. I also might not have a job of scheduling minor hockey anymore, so I need this job because it's going to be tough, but we'll persevere. People ask me what
Time. That's what you get for telling too many jokes. Go ahead.
I run on 3 pillars or biases: healthy lake, healthy youth, and collaboration to an extreme. Provincial collaboration is critical to our community housing, water systems, and recreation like sports and the arts. We can't pay for it all. Supporting youth serves us all. They will run the world, and we need them to be healthier than us. We need to support programs and healthy spaces for youth. Our lake is the jewel to why most families came and stay. Does the lake make you money, or is it just nice to look at? Our urban environment threatens it more than the litter. Our town needs natural zones to filter urban runoff and live in. We can grow, we just can't sprawl. I offer these 3 pillars to you. I ask for your vote.
Thank you. Next.
As we look to the future, Sylvan Lake needs steady, experienced leadership to guide our community through growth and change. Over the past years on town council, I've worked hard to make decisions that reflect both the challenges we face and the opportunities before us. My focus is clear: supporting a sustainable water supply to secure our future, balancing tourism so residents' quality of life is always protected, and strengthening our economy by keeping Sylvan Lake welcoming for business and investment. In all of this, I'm committed to being fiscally responsible, ensuring every decision respects taxpayer dollars while preparing for the needs of tomorrow. I bring experience, balance, and a steady voice for decision making, and I'd be honored to earn your support.
First, I want to say thank you to everybody for coming out tonight. I feel very honored to be sitting at all these tables with all these people. I genuinely love people. That's where my heart is. And every council needs a champion for the voice of the people. Here's what I can promise: I will always remain a voice for people. I will listen to understand and not talk to be heard like many politicians will do. And I will always stand up for what is right. So I won't let you down, and I would appreciate a vote.
McCormick.
Having a responsible, informed, focused town council is vital in today's Alberta. I feel previous and current methods and practices have not been yielding the results we are all looking for. Every dollar spent has to bring maximum value. New ways to draw revenue and solve problems need to be found. I will collaborate, advocate, to do the work, have the hard conversations respectfully, and always with the taxpayer in mind. If one thing is clear, Albertans Lakers are resilient, innovative, and informed people that can come together and make things work. Together we can adapt, overcome, and make life better for all. I sincerely hope to earn your vote and bring full-time attention to this part-time position. Thank you.
Councillor Rowan.
So since my contract ended working in the constituency office, the one thing that I missed the very, very most was helping people. You know, I was a political problem solver, and I've missed that so much, and I look forward to doing that again and wanting to serve the citizens of Sylvan Lake. It was such an honor to serve the constituents for Innisfail Sylvan Lake riding, and I would love the opportunity to do it again. And also, I'd like to thank all of my running mates for putting your name out there. This is not an easy thing to do, and it shouldn't be. It's very important what we're setting out to do. Thank you.
Graham, if you're the oldest, I guess that means I'm the youngest. But like, don't let that fool you. I've got a burning passion. I fight for what's right. I stand up for what's right, and I will always speak my mind. And my mind is decided by you guys, by the people of Sylvan Lake. I want to make this town better because my wife and my daughter live in this town, and my wife and my daughter are the two most important people in my life. And I'm actually not going to ask for your vote tonight. I'm going to ask you to vote for the people that you believe serve you the best. It's not right for me to tell you who to vote for. There are some amazing candidates across the room here, people that I admire. So please vote for who you believe will serve you best. If that's me, I would be honored to serve. If it's not, I will be the council's biggest cheerleader, because with the council's success becomes the people's success, and we are all Team Sylvan. Thank you.
Candidate Iwanicki.
So, like a lot of you in this room, I'm an import to this town. And I want to thank you, first and foremost, for everyone who came before me for building a place that we wanted to call home. This is a place that thousands, millions of people come to every year in order to enjoy themselves, to find a quieter life, and to find a peaceful place to raise their family. So thank you. Now, what I'm hearing a lot of is a lot of frustration with the way things are happening. So what I want to do is I want to listen to those frustrations and help find common ground and solutions to those problems that are reasonably thought out and that are not hostile to other members of our community or to hostile to people visiting. We need to find a way to solve these problems together.
Drevnik.
Thank you for being here tonight to support the town that we all love. I'm Nicole Drevenak. I'm real, I'm approachable, and I'm ready to get things done. And I'd be honored to serve in Sylvan Lake. I'll protect our lakefront, support small businesses, and keep our community safe, because vandalism, law breaking shouldn't be tolerated. We all deserve a town that's safe, clean, and welcoming. I believe in creating spaces for our youth to connect, and in thoughtful housing that meets the needs of families and seniors, so everyone can thrive here. I love this community. It's where I raised my kids, built my business, and found my people, and I'm ready to give back in a bigger way. On October 20th, I'd be privileged to earn your vote, because Sylvan Lake deserves a council that listens, acts, and truly cares about every voice, including yours.
Tonight you've asked the hard questions, and I hope that you've seen that I never shy away from hard answers. That's why you deserve a counselor, not someone who's going to tell you what you want to hear, but someone who's going to tell you the truth and then goes and rolls up their sleeves to fix the real problem. I'm running because there's real work left to do. Our beaches need protecting, our water infrastructure needs finishing, and our youth and seniors need champions. And every one of you needs someone standing up to keep this town affordable. For 21 years of volunteering, I have proven that I just don't care. I act. And right now, I'm this close to locking in $20 million in savings that will secure our water and wastewater. Lakers, you know me. I'm one of you, and my heart is here. On October 20th, vote Shreen Dakin.
So over the years,
it's fine.
It's working?
Yep.
Okay, well, so over the years, I've realized that everything seems to come down to money. So here goes. When I got in the workforce at 17, I had $0. I ended up in some strange town in Saskatchewan and had to go to the hotel, ask the guy if I could stay in the hotel and eat in the restaurant, and I would pay him when I got paid. So after 50 years of being in the trades, I can tell you that being debt-free is a very freeing feeling. And all the while, I never bought anything I wanted unless I could afford to pay for it. I only concentrated on my needs till I became a impulse buyer.
Time, thank you.
At the end of the day, I'm not running because I like politics. I just happen to be a young architect who is a mom, a small business owner, and a proud new Canadian who knows what it means to work really hard for opportunities. I know I can be a voice for everyone. I've had the pleasure of actually working with a lot of you in here, and you will not let me lie that my work ethic is second to none. I'm usually the first one to show up. Today was no different, and the last one to leave. And I don't like to commit to anything unless I can do it with excellence, and this opportunity is no different. At the end, the average resident doesn't care about the small print of the bylaws or has time to sit through lengthy deliberation meetings, but they do care that Sylvan Lake is a thriving, beautiful community, and that's why I'm here for you, and I would be honored with your vote. Thank you.
And finally, candidate Bilodeau, finally for the council candidates. Go ahead.
First of all, I want to say thank you to all you Lakers for coming out. You've made a huge investment in your community so that you can go to the poll and be informed. For most of the candidates here tonight, this is a really hard thing to do, getting up in front of everybody to speak. I have learned to lean into the things that scare me and make me uncomfortable, because this is where growth lives. And I will bring the same concept and energy to council. It's scary to stand on a political platform and make promises, but I will promise to consistently be bold, brave, and committed to the residents and business owners in this town. I will be your voice on council so that together our community can build the future it deserves.
Time. Okay, we're going to hear from the mayoral candidates. Their wrap up, 45 seconds. Larson.
Every challenge I've ever taken on and every project that I've started began with a vision. And that vision has always been about building something better than already exists. And right now I have a vision for Sylvan Lake. And I want this town to be more than just a nice place to visit. I also want it to be a better place to live for people who are already here. And that means, to me, cleaning up, revitalizing our lakefront. It means making town life more affordable for working families. And it means creating opportunities for local businesses and finding smarter ways to bring in revenue into our town. I'm not running to manage decline. I'm running to build something better. If you're ready.
Time. You know the rest, she said. Candidate Hanson to close.
Sylvan Lake is a community I am deeply invested in. That's why I fight for it every day, and I will continue to do so if given the opportunity. I'm known for being decisive and action-oriented, and I'll continue to be a mayor who listens, who shows up, and who works hard to make sure that every voice in our community matters. I'm asking for your support to keep building a Sylvan Lake that we're all really proud to call home. Safe, family-friendly, and full of opportunity. If this aligns with you, I respectfully ask that you vote Megan Hanson on Election Day. Thank you.
Thank you very much, folks. That pretty much wraps it up, except for one thing. I have a little exhortation for the candidates here. It's a series of 2 questions that I often ask when I'm consulting for councils or boards, particularly ones that are a little bit dysfunctional. And we all know that that's happening these days in municipal politics. And the first question, and it's rhetorical, I don't expect anybody to answer. But the first question, you all woke up one morning in, I don't know, June, July, or August, and you said to yourself, I'm going to run for council. How many of you woke up that morning and said, I'm going to run for council because I want to make Sylvan Lake a worse place to live? Okay. I asked that question in my consult, and people look at me and go, what are you, nuts? That's rhetorical. I go, wait a minute. Let me ask the follow-up question. How many of you, or in a dysfunctional council context, I say, how many of the people in this room honestly believe that there are other people in this room who woke up one morning and said, I want to make our community a worse place to live? And that's the nub of a lot of the dysfunction we see on councils, is we refuse to ascribe good motives to our political opponents. The rub comes in the definition of what a better community is and how to get to that better community. And my challenge to each of you, if you're elected, is to work together to arrive at consensus and compromise to truly make this a better community in a way that you can all live with. And with that, thank you very much. One more round of applause for the candidates, folks. And thank you all for coming. Thank you for being a respectful audience. And to the candidates, thank you for bearing with me in sticking to the format even when sometimes I didn't. Have a good evening, everybody, and drive safe. Good night.